Hello, my fellow humans. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. Your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing this human experience with you. So today we are looking into what do you need to know about love, and this could be if you're single, if you are planning on getting together with somebody, if you're already with somebody. So I'm leaving these messages open to source. And I just want to mention, like, if you guys didn't catch my last reading, I definitely am feeling a lot better. Choosing to go this route has definitely opened up a lot of channels for me, and it's made me feel even closer to my connection with source, which is amazing. And just overall, I just want to mention, and I'm probably going to mention this on the next upcoming readings as well, just because repetition is key. If you're holding yourselves back for fear of not being accepted, don't. Right? Maybe for a while it'll seem like nobody wants to, be around you, or nobody understands you, or nobody even cares about what it is that you have to say. But being honest and truthful with yourself is the most powerful and empowering thing that you can do. And the way that you feel from that far outweighs the fear of not being accepted. And so if you can just be brave enough to step into your truth and be willing to show yourself as you are, it can make such a difference in your life. I tell you what, this is the first time in a long time I haven't actually dreaded doing a reading, which is odd. I actually love being a tarot reader. I love being able to use my gift. I love being able to help people, but I've been dreading doing readings for quite a while because of the topics I was doing and just wanting to be accepted and wanting to get views and this, that, and the other. And I realized that if I'm going to trust the process, I have to choose what's right for me, because eventually when things go rolling, like, I don't want to be that person that didn't choose to follow my truth. And I struggle with it too, and that's why I was trying to integrate other readings that I enjoy doing, but I just wasn't doing enough of that. And now I am choosing to focus on the readings that I enjoy doing, because I'm the one up here doing the readings, right? Like, why wouldn't I? And of course, it's important to cater to the audience, but I realize that if my audience consists of people who are only looking for what other people are looking into or what other people think of them, that's not something that I actually think about on a day-to-day basis. Like, I'm very integrative, I'm very reflection-based in my life, and I'm not worried about what everyone else is worrying about me. And I think that that is weird to say, considering with the channel I was focusing only on what people liked, but it was just what was popular, and I chose that because I was like, oh, I guess this is the only way I can get my messages out there. And sometimes we just really have to step away from what's popular. It's not that I was worried about what people thought of me. It was just I was worried that I wasn't going to get seen. And Source has told me time and time again, this is the path that you're meant to take. This is the path you're meant to walk. I've gotten so many signs and synchronicities. And when I chose to choose what felt right for me, things suddenly started flowing a lot easier. It doesn't mean that it's reflected right away. But energetically, I feel a lot better, and I feel a lot more like me. And I feel like if all those people were here just because they're so worried about everyone else, then that's all right. That's proof that those aren't going to be the people who grow. With those of you that have been with me since day one, or those of you that continue to be with me after I make changes, or after I have problems, or after I go through ups and downs just like the rest of the world, right? And I realize that the people who are a part of my core tribe on here have really been ride or die, and they're ride or die from the moment they've seen me. And so whether that's from the very beginning or somewhere along the way, and I really just want to say, I want to give a shout out to those of you that are my ride or dies, and those of you that are my core tribe on this channel, because I love you so much. And I know I said in the last video, I really do lean on you guys in times of trial and tribulations, and we are all going through it. And so for as much as I'm here for you, I hope you guys know that just the love that you share and the light that you bring to the channel, the comments you leave, and the love that you leave in the comments, it all hits home for me in a very unique and beautiful way. And I would not be where I am without you. And I realized that changing is not gonna affect the core tribe that's here. And if it does, then that's okay, right? I wish everybody luck. If those of you are choosing to leave, I wish everybody luck in finding the ones that you resonate with. But I'm ready to find the people that resonate with me, and I'm ready to find the people who need these messages, because these are the life-changing types of messages that I've had in my own life, and that's who I want to be. So thank you. All right, let's get to our prayer and we'll get into it today. And yeah, I'm so excited. I just feel such a sense of relief. I truly, truly do. And for those of you that are new here, and if you don't know, I will do a collective message after I shuffle the cards. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's super, super resonant with so many of the piles most of the time. And yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's collective energy. So if you're interested, that will come up shortly. And if you want to hop to it, it will be in the description box below. Okay? All right, my beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading. Today we all need a little bit of a reminder that it's okay for us to be ourselves. And this may be the energy that we walk into for a little while, and knowing that that's okay. Repetition is key. It's okay. I am enough as I am, and I'm always willing to become better than I was, and I admire myself. And I want this energy to be the truth for all of those that are on this reading today. I want them to remember that they can celebrate who they are, that they can be who they are, and that nothing in the world is ever going to make them more special than they are in this moment. But if we don't see that for ourselves, we'll struggle seeing it even when another person does. And we'll struggle receiving the love that you've given to us since day one, and that you will continue to give to us for eternity. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. We all want to be understood. And sometimes what we're struggling to see, hear, and understand is ourselves. Thinking if we just make a little tweak here, if we just make a little exception here, if we just don't talk about this one topic here, then we'll be accepted. But the truth is we're denying ourselves our own truth and reality. And our reality is reminiscent of how we feel about ourselves. And while we might struggle with this for the rest of our lives, I'm ready to get down and dirty with everyone here. I'm ready to walk in the trenches with each and every one of you. And so I ask that you give us the courage and strength to do that, Source. Ready to be transparent. Ready to show that this journey is not a bunch of cupcakes and cream pies, but that it is real. It is raw. It is vulnerable. It's open. It's exposing. But sometimes those are the very best parts of ourselves that get to shine through. Is those raw, vulnerable, real parts. Those are the parts that make people fall in love with us, because those are the parts when we love ourselves, we've accepted ourselves fully. May this be the truth for everyone here in this moment and moving forward. As these words are spoken onto this reading and upon this tribe today, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Aseh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved Source. Thank you. All right. Let me set this up over here. Okay. So we're going to be using the Whispers of Love Oracle today by Angela Hartfield. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deck. If you guys are interested, definitely highly recommend adding this to your collection. It's great for messages, but what I really love about it is it's great for, even though it's a love deck, it's truly also a great self-love deck. So, all right, what do you need to know about love? What oracle card is going to help us better understand this today for my fellow human, Source? What do you need to know about love? What do you need to know about love? Okay, thank you. The matter of the heart. There's more going on than meets the eye. So it might feel hopeless right now for many people, and it's not. And that's what I feel like Source is just saying real quick here, because it needs to come through. Pile 1. What do you need to know about love? Pile number 2. What do you need to know about love right now? Okay. Pile number 3. What do you need to know about love? Thank you, Source. Thank you. All right, collective energy. Oof. Oh, I love Source so much when I get such a feeling that I need to talk about something, and then that energy is coming out for the collective with honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. And this is about letting go of the masks, and the prayer goes hand in hand with this. If you just came in for the collective reading, you might resonate with the prayer that I did as well. You could check that out. I would highly recommend watching the intro as well, because it just kind of all has run into one another, and that's pretty cool. Only if you feel called to. It's not an obligation, but how synchronistic it is right now with this card coming out. I mean, look at the mask that this guy is wearing. And she's turned, like this is really symbolic, because we turn our backs to ourselves. We even turn our backs to our masks, and we ignore ourselves in many situations. And we feel like it's okay for us to do that. Oh, we'll deal with it tomorrow. We'll deal with it later, right? But with the little Cupid here on the rose, it's saying like love can't actually come into our lives if we're not honest with ourselves, if we're not speaking from a place of truth. And then we have relationship patterns right underneath that with it takes strength to recognize the need for change. So a lot of our relationship struggles across the board collectively have come from wearing a mask or trying to fit in, or hoping, like maybe it's because we really fallen for a person and we're going to change ourselves to let that person know that we're lovable, or that we have been in love with maybe a really toxic person and we thought if we changed ourselves enough that they would see that we're worthy of love. And these are all things that make us put on a mask, and they don't even have to be those. It could be anything, right? It could just be like not loving the way you look, or not accepting yourself in what you desire, not accepting yourself in what your preference is. And you know, with the full moon here, it's about trusting our intuition and knowing that what we want matters, right? So if you're somebody who really likes a certain type of person, or you like maybe you don't fall in love with looks, you fall in love with energy, or and that's always a good thing, right? Like falling in love with energy, because looks will fade over time, but it's okay to have a preference for looks. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh, that's a terrible thing. Look, I get it. I'm that same person. But also, if somebody comes to me and is vibing in a really great energy and they're not necessarily who I would go after physically, I'm going to give that person a chance, because who knows what may have become moving forward. And I feel like that's a really powerful thing to remember. It's like, it's okay to be honest with ourselves, but accepting that allows us to stand with an open heart from an open place. And otherwise, if we're not going to be able to stand from an open place. One second. It's interesting, and I'm just going to talk. I was going to pause the video, but I feel like I need to talk. You guys are going to hear me get far away. I'm going to come right back. So I'm cooking dinner. Right? Yeah. Okay. So I have it in the Instapot, and the Instapot has just been for a while, because I think that I didn't have the thing closed on top, which is funny because it's an automatic release and everything, and so it usually closes on its own. But the fact that the pressure wasn't building, and then all of a sudden, as soon as I stood up and walked over there, it did, right? It went from 95 to 100. It was stuck at 95 this whole time. And so I feel like that's really telling, because that's what it feels like. There's a lot of pressure on you right now. And there's a lot of things that are happening to you right now that it's like, but I can just deal with this later. I can heal from this later. Like, when I find my love, then I'll accept myself, right? Like, there's all these things. And that's why honesty is essential, because you're never going to find true love, or you're never going to meet your real partner when you're not honest with yourself. Or even if you are with somebody right now, you would want them to be 100% honest with you, right? But if you're hiding parts of yourself from them, how can you ask them for 100% honesty? And these are all things to look at as we're looking at love. And it's scary because it's asking us to be vulnerable and open to a person who could potentially weaponize these vulnerabilities against us, right? It's happened in the past. We've been betrayed in the past in this way. People have said nasty things about, you know, who I am or what I like or what I desire. And I don't want that to happen again. And while that may be true from the past, but in the present, if you're giving your life to somebody, and this is just an example, not everybody here is going to be with somebody, but just the example, if you're giving your life to somebody, you want that person to know you the way you know yourself. And truthfully, they'll never know you quite the way you know yourself, because you're still getting to know yourself and they'll always be getting to know you. But if you can't be honest, like maybe your sexual preferences, if you can't be honest about your sexual preferences, then is this really the person for you? Right? If you can't be open about things that scare you, is this really the person for you? But at the end of the day, can you do those things for yourself? Like, can you be honest about your sexual preferences to yourself? What you like in bed? Can you be honest about that with yourself? Even if it seems a little wild and unruly and even scary to admit, right? Can you be honest with that with yourself? And there's these things that are coming up that can be potentially huge blocks, because just say here, and again, an example, I'm not trying to make this an X-rated video by any means. That's not what I'm trying to, but again, I will try to make this as safe for the camera as I can. But say you like to dress up, okay? Like you like to role play. We're just going to go with something easy, okay? And it can be anything, okay? I got it. My Pisces is in, or my Venus is in Pisces, so I'm very open to ideas and things like that. Like I get it. So if you got some wild ideas, like I know how that is and how scary it is to share with somebody. And I've also had that weaponized against me before in the past. And I'll share an example from my own life as well. But let's just say you like to role play, okay? And maybe you were with somebody and you role played with them and they were immediately like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, well, you know, we've been with each other for a while and this is something that I like. And I thought that I would surprise you with this. And they get really uncomfortable. And so they project their discomfort onto you. And that creates a wound, because being sexually open with someone is very vulnerable. Like that is giving a part of ourselves that we don't just give to anybody and everybody, right? And, you know, even in promiscuity and stuff like that, it's still, there's certain people we choose to share that with, right? And so it's been weaponized against you. And so now it's like, well, I can't be honest with myself about that. And I don't want to share that with another person unless they bring it up first. If they bring it up first, then it's safe. But if no one ever brings it up and the people you get involved with are just missionary all the time, it's really boring, and suddenly you lose your sex drive because you like to role play and they're not filling that fulfilling that fantasy, and you're not fulfilling that fantasy because you're not talking about it, right? Like these are things that matter when it comes to love even. And I know this is very physical what we're talking about, but let me share my own story with you. One time I went to the sex shop and I got some lotion, and it was just this little bottle that this lady, she's like, oh, we have a special going on this. It was flavored oil is what it was, okay? And again, you're already thinking dirty. I already know you are, and it's not, what I'm telling you is not going to be dirty. It's not, okay? But I went home and it was with my narcissistic ex, okay? And when I got home and I was like, oh, let me give you a massage with this oil. And so I was giving him I guess you could call it an erotic massage, but I mean, I can't necessarily say that it was. I was just topless and I was using my body. And so all of a sudden when I was rubbing myself on his back, you know, my breasts on his back, like he got so uncomfortable and he's like, you just came from the sex shop, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, that's where I got this oil from. And I was like, doesn't it smell so good? And all of a sudden he's like, who showed you that? Who at the sex shop showed you to do this? And I was like, no one. It's just a massage. Like, and he's like, no, someone had to have showed you. And so he used it against me, and he really like made me feel so bad about me sharing a part of myself with him that I just stopped after that. Like I just didn't do anything else like that. And I'm going to tell you, our sex life, it was super boring. It was so boring. It was always what he wanted. And that's what it was. And when I would introduce new things, it was always, who did you do this with? who showed you how to do this. It couldn't be that I was imaginative and that I just got an idea and I was like, oh, I'll try this, right? It was always a weapon against me and who I used this with, or who I'd already done this with. And so I guess that has created a situation where it's hard to be honest about preferences that I enjoy in the bedroom. But now that I've been single, it's something that I've opened up to, and opening up to that has allowed me to exude sensuality in a way that I wasn't able to or free to before, because I was hiding from myself. And that's something that's really important here. And that's something that's really valid here as well, is to remind yourself that what you desire and what you prefer is okay. It is safe, and you're not the only one. Right? And I feel like that's the thing. Like, everybody thinks they're weird, and their fantasies are weird, and what they desire is weird. You know, like, who else wants this? And just because you haven't met another person that is into that just yet doesn't mean that they don't exist. I mean, look at erotica novels and all that stuff, and X-rated sites, all that stuff, right? Like, it all has, there's labels, there's categories, there's genres, you know, like, thinking about that. So you're not alone. Right? And I feel like that's something what Source is saying here. And why is it, it's interesting because I don't usually get physicality in love relationships. Like, it's not usually focused on physical connection or sexual connection. I usually don't get that unless I'm actually doing a reading that's revolving around that. And so for that to come in here, it's showing me that there are some people here who are in a relationship who are afraid to open up. Or that's something that you're afraid to open up with somebody that you might be interested in getting in a relationship with, or your potential partner in the future. It's like, I'm scared to share this part of myself. But, you know, look, you want fireworks to fly with the fireworks here in the distance. You want fireworks to fly, but how can they ever fly if you're not getting fulfilled? And it's not just about our physical connection, right? Like, it's not, but that's also how we open up emotionally, is sharing that part of ourselves. And that's how we also open up to a deeper connection. If someone scoffs at us, or if someone makes fun of us right away when we share that part of ourselves, right there, you know that person's not for you. And that's okay. They don't have to be for you, but you don't have to put yourself back in the closet because someone did that to you. That's not fair to you. Right? And that's something that I've only learned from my own personal experience. And that's also something that comes out often in readings, is like, we hide ourselves because of judgment from others. But judgment from others is projection of their own discomfort, right? That's projection of their own internal fears. And, you know, like in my ex's case, I couldn't tell you what that was referring to, whether that was jealousy, that was fear that I was cheating on him. And he cheated on me the whole relationship, so I could see it be both. And, you know, it's like all these things that came up. But regardless of what it was that he went through, I closed myself off because of his judgment. And the only one that really hurt in the end, no matter what, was me. So why should we close ourselves off because someone doesn't understand us? That's information for us to make a discerning decision moving forward, right? So let's see what this card says from the book, number 38, which is also breaking down is 11. And 11 is spirituality. It's coming into a state of awakening. And so this is about awakening to your truth. It says, love aims to do what is best for another person. Speak honestly, tell the truth about your emotions. There's an opportunity to clear the air and create a positive outcome. Truthfulness is an important part of any relationship. If you are sharing something that isn't real, you aren't being straightforward. Exactly. You're hiding. When you avoid the truth because you fear how it will be received, you create blocks or walls in your relationships. Working on speaking with clarity, love, softness, and honesty to get to the truth and develop a stronger bond with your partner. Be compassionate about their emotions. Try to be open to what they have to say and avoid personalizing their frankness. Okay? Does the mask suggest that something is hidden or being glossed over out of fear of upsetting each other? With the woman's back turned, it can indicate an unwillingness to believe there is more going on than meets the eye. Oh my gosh, did I not just say that when I was shuffling for... Oh, what happened right now? Because that was a direct message that came out. The heart of the matter, there's more going on than meets the eye. I said that before I even drew the first card for pile 1. You can rewind it at the shuffle because that's what I said. That is wild. That is so wild. It says, you're responsible for how you communicate with your partner. Be open and connected to create a healthy relationship. Yeah, so this is about putting down the walls and the blocks so that you can connect openly. And if they're not willing and ready to do that, then that's, again, information that you have to use discerning moving forward, right? That's it. You use that as information to make a decision for yourself, whether you stay or you go or you do something else. But all of that aside, do not minimize yourself and do not minimize your desires or your fantasies, especially when it comes to love, because the person we want to spend our lives with, we want them to see us for who we are. But if we can't accept ourselves for who we are, how can we ever share ourselves fully with another person, right? Okay, so are we in frame? All right, we're good to go. Now, I did choose the Zodiac dice, and these are just the Zodiac that came out. I don't have all four, like air did not come out. I have fire, earth, and water. So this is not just for Sagittarius. This is not just for Taurus. This is not just for Pisces. It's just an option to choose from. But if you pick the pile because of your Zodiac sign, that is okay too. Okay, just want to clarify that. So for pile number 1, we do have Sagittarius on this dice. We have this jade gemstone for the heart chakra with the seed sound yam on it. Pile number 2, we have this dice with Taurus on it. Or we have this smoky quartz throat chakra with the seed sound hum on it. And pile number 3, we have this dice with Pisces on it. We have this amethyst gemstone for the crown chakra with the seed sound Om. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, whichever pile you feel called to, that should be the one for you, and I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Sagittarius on it, or if you felt called to this jade gemstone for the heart chakra with the seed sound yam on it, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on what you need to know in love. So if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. Your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing this human experience with you. Very quickly, the collective message was so synchronistic, so you might resonate with that. If you feel called to it, you'll find a timestamp down below. And if you're new, I do lead all of my readings with a collective message that you'll find right after the shuffle, okay? But there was a message that came through that I said right before I started shuffling, and it came out at the very end of the collective message, and that blew my mind. It was really cool to see. So just pointing that out there, but let's go ahead and hop to it and find out today. What do you need to know about love, pile 1? What do you need to know about love? Now, I do want to point out as well that this could be future love, present love, past love. I'm leaving it up to Source to bring through the messages. And if you didn't know that this was a change that I was making to my channel, I talk about it not only in today's intro video, but in the last video that I posted right before that one, and that is titled What You Need to Know Right Now. So you can definitely check that out. I'm being very transparent in the openings of my videos, so you guys will find that at the intro, and I mentioned that I will probably be mentioning that in the next few videos just so that everybody's aware of what's coming on the channel, okay? All right, cool. Yeah, so we've got the 10th house, we've got Gemini, and we've got the Sun. What do you need to know about love? Okay, so right now, it does feel like this is a common thing that's come up in my channel across the board, and so I'm not surprised that it's here, pile one. I'm not surprised it's come up and that it's your pile either. It's just something that has been pretty common for you. I do feel like you might be single. You don't have to be. But I feel like the most important thing here is that work is kind of where your focus is right now. And that's where your intuition is putting you. That is where everything is pointing to, is taking care of work and just rolling with the punches now at work, because that's where you're shining, right? Like that's where you feel most at home. You may have recently got a promotion, or that's something that's in the works for you, or there is an opportunity for you to help inspire people or to lead people as well. And so there's a lot of discipline for your work. There's a lot of discipline for your purpose. There's a lot of consistency when it comes to that area of your life. And so Source is definitely acknowledging that here. But I do feel like the more you become successful, and not necessarily money. Okay, that's not what the success is here that Source is talking about. The more you become successful in truly accepting the whole of yourself, like the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, like all these things, the things about yourself that maybe you didn't want to accept before, like the more that you come into this state of recognizing that it's okay for you to relax into being you, that's when you open your heart to receive the love that's meant for you, okay? And I know I talk a lot about this. It's if you've got a labeled relationship or something like that, I'm not here to give you that label, okay? It may come out in the cards, and even if it comes out in the cards, I'm not going to give you that label, but I might mention a label coming up. I just want to point that out here, okay? Because you're the only one who knows your experience. But the thing is here is that Source is reminding you to keep an open mind, because there's like some sort of block that I feel right now coming through where it's been really hard for you to maybe let go of an idea of a person or an idea of a potential person or an idea of who someone has to be in order to connect with you. And so you give off these vibes where it's like people have a hard time getting to know you, and it's may just be that way. Like it may be really hard to connect with you, and you have this expectation of people needing to put in the work to show that they're worth your time, which is not a bad thing. But I do feel like on top of that, there's this block where it's like, if they don't meet every one of your criteria or every one of the checkbox, like it's almost like they have to have this checklist. And if they check off every one of these things on the list, then I'll open up to them. You're doing yourself the disservice of not being willing to connect with people who could potentially at some point fulfill those checks on the list, but might not be able to do so right away. Right? And so that's what they're saying. And it's not about falling in love with potential. That's not what this is. It's just it feels like a block, and it feels like a safety block. Like this feels like I've been hurt so bad in love before. Like I've been cheated on. I've been betrayed. I've been abandoned. I've been, lied to, manipulated, whatever it is. There's a lot of like wounds around the father wound here, which translates into some really rough connections with people in our relationships, and especially emotionally unavailable people. And that wound itself has created this checklist as a means of, this has to be a priority and it's a non-negotiable, even if it is a negotiable, right? And so you would, the other thing is too, is like, would you want someone to hold you up to, if this is resonating, would you want someone to hold you up to this checklist or a checklist like that? And I already feel some like, ooh, I don't like that. Like that doesn't feel good. And so remembering that, okay, like that's the type of energy that you might be calling in, is people who are holding you up to this type of a checklist and expecting you to fulfill a certain role rather than getting to know you for who you are and letting your energy speak for itself, right? And it's not that you've done anything wrong. That's not what it is here. It feels like a safety precaution, like a safety measure. Like, oh no, I need to protect myself from manipulators. I need to protect myself from toxic people. Or, you know, like in this situation right now, this could be something where you're involved with somebody and you won't move forward with them to the next step until they meet these requirements. And so there could be love involved with someone here, but there just feels like a requirement. That's what I keep hearing, a requirement. They don't meet the requirements. And honestly, so we talk about expectations a lot, right? And anytime we have expectations for someone, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And so remembering that it's not about going into any situation with expectations, it's going in with discernment. And I feel like sometimes we get those confused with one another, but discernment means I'm going to observe with an open mind and an open heart and then make a decision. Expectation is exactly that, the checklist. If they don't meet the requirements of the checklist, then it's a no-go, right? And so those are two vastly different energies. And I feel like Source is just reminding you that it's okay to go in with an open mind and an open heart, okay? What do you need to know about love? Okay. What do you need to know about love, pile one? What do you need to know about love? Whoa. Did you see how it floated in? It was like, phew. I don't know if the camera caught that, but that's what it did. What do you need to know about love, pile one? This one right here. Okay. Thank you. The bottom of the deck. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision because it smells so delightful in here right now. I'm cooking dinner and it smells so good. Yeah, intuition. So this is the thing. It's important for you to trust your intuition when it comes to matters of the heart, not the emotional ego. And I feel like your emotional ego has quite a big voice right now when it comes to love. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not alone. This often happens after we've had something traumatizing in the matters of love, or if we've always had traumatizing connections. It's our emotional ego has become the loudest thing on our journey because at one point it saved us from situations that were otherwise harmful, but then it created those situations because we trusted it to keep us from that. And so it does feel like your emotional ego right now has a really loud voice. And so what Source is saying with the Popess on the bottom of the deck is that it's necessary for you to really sit in silence and trust your intuition. Feel into the connection, right? Is this really for you? Is this really something that's for your higher good? Or is this someone that may be holding you back? And now I understand why Source wanted me to mention labeled relationships, okay? So if you've put a label on someone because you feel like you really resonate with a labeled journey, right? And again, I'm not here to say you are, you are not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that sometimes it's necessary for us to sit with ourselves and to really connect with their energy, not the higher self energy that we share, their energy in the 3D. It's helpful for us to connect with that energy and really sit with it and ask, is this really the best connection for my highest good? Because sometimes they're not in a place where they're ready to receive us, or we're not even in a place where we're ready to go through the chaos that they might bring or the chaos that we might create together, right? And so you're not doing yourself a dirty, you're not doing them a dirty by asking this question. Rather, what you're doing is allowing your intuition to speak freely and say, okay, maybe we've read too much into this with the emotional ego, or we've let the emotional ego convince us that we need to go down this path. And this could be true with anybody. It doesn't have to be a labeled relationship. This could be an ex. This could be someone that you see as a potential partner. This could be someone that you want as a potential partner. These things are very, very good ways to discern, is this truly where I'm headed? Part of that is about observation, observing, like, where are they at energetically? What are they posting sometimes? It's not about stalking them, but being aware, like, do I even resonate with what they're posting, right? If they're posting about war and hardships and spreading news and stuff like that, and that's not what you like to watch or get involved in, you know, like, that's obviously not going to be an even match. You know, an example would be like, I was talking to this guy not too long ago, and he was from Ireland, and I was really excited. I was like, oh, cool, you know, like, what brought you to the States? But this guy was all about politics and news, right? Like, that's the only thing that he does. And I don't get involved in politics, and I don't watch the news. And it's not because I don't want to know what's going on. It's just because it's filled with a lot of negativity, right? And so I mentioned this at some point during our conversations, that I'm not really a big fan of the news, and I'm not really into politics, but I think that it's interesting to get to know a person, to see, you know, just to see how we vibe. And after I shared that part of myself with him, he became very curt and came down to one-word answers. And so I understood, okay, this is just, you know, like, I could have kept pushing. I could have been like, well, you know, like, you don't have to judge me because I don't like those things. Or like, why is that suddenly now you don't want to talk? Like, I could have said all these things, right? Rather, I took a step back and I just observed the situation, and I decided not to continue. And so I ended the situation right there. I was like, this just isn't going to work. It's okay. I wish you the best of luck. Good. And we're moving on. And I realized that it's just not worth pushing. And so sometimes we get so much into this mind's eye that we have to push, which is also reminiscent of the father wound, which connects to the 10th house here, is that control, the need for control that comes with the 10th house as well. Control, because we don't want to lose control. But when we're trying to control a situation, we've already lost control, because we've lost control of ourselves. All right, let's see. Yep, let's see what we've got going on here. Wow. There's a lot of, okay, so first and foremost, you may really resonate with the collective reading. And I'm just going to say that because there's a lot of sexual energy here with these cards, right? Even the Hermit is like untapped sexual potential, and it can talk about closeted sexual desires. Okay, so like I said, I don't usually get a lot of sexual energy on the readings themselves, but it's been really apparent today, so there's something that needs to be said. We have the 5 of Wands in the reverse, and that's an obstinate refusal to change. I don't want to change. I like doing things the way that I do them. It's been working for me so far, but I still want things to change in the future for me. But I don't want to change. And sometimes that's a really weird place to be in, because we don't see the need to change ourselves. We just see a need for everyone to change for us. And that's understandable. It's not unreasonable, but it's an expectation that's going to leave us in disappointment every time. You're not alone feeling that. And if you feel like this resonates with you, leave a little broken heart emoji down below in the comments to let other pile ones know that you're not alone. This is just something that happens along the way. I've been there too. But see, with the 9 of Wands here, it's this energy of like, I don't want to start over again. I don't want to begin again. I don't want to begin again. I don't want to go through the dating and have to deal with the broken heart from dating somebody that's not meant for me. I don't want to go through the hassle of sharing who I am with somebody. I don't want to have to go through this ups and downs of just trying to like understand where another person is, or own up to sharing that I'm going to be leaving with another person. Like, I don't want to have to answer to anybody. Like, there's a lot of energy here. Yeah, there's a lot of energy here. And the uncertainty comes from wanting to have options, not necessarily with people, but options and freedom to do and make the decisions you want without having to share your whereabouts. But that in and of itself is like, when you're with a person in a relationship, pile one, that's a courtesy. That's a courtesy that you want someone to share with you. Like, you don't want to get involved with a partner who just disappears for days on end and doesn't tell you where they're going. Right? But if that energy resides within you, and you want someone to do what you yourself can't provide, right? Those are things to look at. And the other thing is that maybe you're with a partner that does that, and they expect you to tell them everywhere you go, and you're like, what the heck? You don't tell me where you're going. You just disappear and you don't say anything, and you just expect me to be okay with it. That goes back to that discernment. Sometimes it's not worth trying to vocalize where you're at. Rather, sitting back and observing and making a discerning decision based on that. Sometimes silence is the biggest defender for us, because we stop fighting and we stop trying to validate our existence, and we stop trying to validate our love. There's definitely a refusal to change here. And again, it could be on either side, but that's what I'm saying. It's just this idea, like, they have to fit this criteria, but that criteria feels very limiting in and of itself. You want someone who's spiritual and who's going to grow with you and build a life with you. And that's great, right? Those are really broad ideas, and those are wonderful things that Source can absolutely bring to you, not a problem. But on top of that, if you say they have to be exactly 6'1", and they have to weigh exactly 150 pounds, and they have to be muscular, and they have to have blue eyes, and they have to have olive skin, and they have to have a six-pack, and they have to have pecs, and they have to have, like, you start looking at all these things that, like, okay, all of those things are gonna fade in time, right? So it's not gonna really matter. Yeah, maybe you'll enjoy it right now, but if you spend 50 years with this person, they're not gonna look like that in 50 years. They're gonna be a little saggy, a little wrinkly, you know, their butt's gonna hang a little, your butt's gonna hang a little, your chi-chis are gonna hang a little, you know what I mean? Like, it's that stuff that's not really, if that's a non-negotiable, it's very surface level, right? And with the Popess here, it's asking about more than surface level. Like, things to ask for would be, and again, I'm not telling you what kind of a list, I'm trying to give you examples so you can decipher what's going to be a good list for you. Would be someone to grow spiritually with, someone who challenges me spiritually but also accepts me spiritually, someone who challenges my mind but also accepts the way I see the world and encourages me to share who I am, someone who makes me feel wanted and desired and like I'm the only person in the world, someone who wants to experience the things I want to experience, but I also want to be open to the things they want to experience, and that we can share those together. We can build a family together. We can build a home together. We can travel the world together, right? These are things to look at and figuring that out. But right now, there's just this fear and this block right in the front where it comes to love. Like, I don't want to change. I don't want to change who I am. Like, I don't want to give up being single, but I do. Right? There's like this weird paradox that's happening right now. Like, I want my person to come in, but I don't want to be what it takes to be in a relationship with someone. And we have to consider another person if we're going to be in that relationship with them. And likewise, if you're in a relationship already, like I said, it does feel like most of my pile ones are single. It does feel that way. But you could be in a relationship and be with someone who acts single, or you could act single in that relationship too. Please take accountability where you're at. I'm not here trying to say, oh, you're a terrible person or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about taking ownership for where we're at in our energetic journey. All of us have different places that we end up, and we all go through very similar energies along the way as well. There's times when we don't consider our partner. There's times when we do, right? It doesn't make you weird, and it doesn't make you a horrible person. That's we're trying to get away from those labels and come into, it's just what it is. Right? It's a part of the journey. And when we honor it as part of the journey, we can make better decisions for ourselves rather than sitting in harsh judgment of ourselves and saying, oh, I'm not enough because I'm this, I do this or I did that. It's like, even with cheating, and I know cheating is a hard topic for people. I know. But you know what? It's like, well, they should have known better. The truth is if they had known better in that moment, they would have chosen better. And it's like, even in that moment, they're not considering their partner, right? That's what they weren't doing. They were considering themselves, and they took a very selfish act. Does it make them right or wrong? What happened in that situation could have been a wrong action, but in the moment they felt they were right. And it's not justifying the act itself, right? Like, I'm not justifying their actions, but what I'm saying is that sometimes we have to look at it. It's not them intentionally trying to hurt you, and maybe it is. More or less, it's them making choices based on their own trauma, based on their own projections, based on their own experience, based on their own perception. And that perception doesn't have anything to consider another person or the person that they may be with, right? We get so caught up in blame, but there's actually a whole lot more going on underneath the surface than just pointing the fingers. And I know my mom always used to tell me this when I was little, is that when you point a finger and blame at someone else, there's always 3 fingers pointing back at you, right? So it's remembering that it's fine if you want to put blame, if that makes you feel better. Eventually that blame, though, that's not going to be a valid blame or a valid excuse to overcome it. So we have to look internally at ourselves and say, okay, maybe I accepted this person into my life when they weren't good for me. Or I overstayed my welcome, or, like, these are things to look at. And so there's definitely a lot of hurt and betrayal that's coming through with this. And maybe it's easier to keep things very surface level and very sexual by nature because it's not having to step into that connection on a deeper level. But that's what Source is saying here. What you need to know about love is if you want a deeper connection, if you want something that's going to grow with you for the long haul, then you have to consider stepping out of expectations and coming back into alignment. And alignment says, I step into love because love is patient, love is kind, love is open-hearted, love is non-judgmental. And I stop judging all the people around me, and instead I open my heart to see who vibes with me and who I can connect with, and not based on a list or based on a potential of pains from the past that you experienced, rather based on your truth moving forward and who you are, right? But I do feel like that might be why some of you are really pouring into your work, because it's become a sort of a distraction from love. And that's understandable too, right? Like it's just, oh, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. And I got that very much in the beginning. I might have been in the collective reading. I feel like it came out in the beginning of your reading too. And it's like, I'll just deal with it later. I won't worry about it right now, right? But if you don't deal with it now, when later does come, if it ever does, because remember, tomorrow never comes, and we always put things off until tomorrow, what should be done today. And that's what gets us into these situations where it becomes much bigger than we're capable of handling if we had just faced it in the moment that it arose. And so it's just facing, there's a potential trigger here. There's a potential discomfort here. There's also potential just of not letting the emotional ego lead you down another desolate road is what this feels like. So let's get some more information out here for you. What else would you like to share with pile 1, Source? Thank you. This came out right away. Yeah, the 6th house, establishing a foundation, health, daily life, and practical details, right? So something about like staying true to your self-care, staying true to your routine, staying true to your daily habits. But remember that the foundation of love is a daily act, right? It's not someone you meet for the first time, you fall madly in love with them the first time, and suddenly you have this foundational love that you don't have to put any effort into. That's not how love works. And I don't care what kind of a connection it is, love is work. Because you're dealing with another person and they're dealing with you, and there's going to be misunderstandings. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be wonderful days and there's going to be not so wonderful days. There's going to be days when you feel like, you know what? I love you, but I really don't like you right now. And there are going to be days where I can't believe that we're together. We're the best and the best and the best. Why? Because you're dealing with another person. That's what life is. There's going to be ups and downs, but it's built by establishing a foundation, not built just by a chance meeting or a one-time encounter. If somebody's not showing up and putting in the effort, then you can't build a foundational love. And I feel like that's just really important to say here. You're getting 2 of these because they both want to come out on the bond. I cannot make this up. I can't make it up. Work. Work, 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 work. Beaver with work. Yeah. And I just said that. Relationships take work. They all do. Even spiritual relationships take work. Right? It takes patience to listen to somebody who may disagree with us. It also takes courage to talk to somebody who may disagree with us, right? These are things that take work. It's not just something that falls into your lap and it's happily ever after. Like, that's not a thing. We live in this very low vibrational energy. This is a very physical, mundane world that we're in. And this physical realm has a tendency to bring ups and downs with it. But what we're doing when we're healing is we're learning how to have tools to face adversity when it arises, because it's going to arise. Not if it arises, when. Because none of us are free from an adversity in this life. None of us, okay? And so, again, Source is just reminding you, like, it takes work. Like, there's no fantasy here where you've been given the most beautiful love ever and you never have to work for it. It's just going to happen for you. You have to work for it because you have to realize you're dealing with another whole person, the same as they're dealing with you. And eventually there's going to be things that happen where you guys aren't going to see eye to eye, but that doesn't make it a bad connection, right? Now, of course, there are things that you have to say, like, these are deal breakers, right? Like, cheating. Is cheating a deal breaker? Or is it something you feel like you could work through? Because that's going to vary from culture to culture, first and foremost. But that's also going to vary from person to person, because some people don't see cheating as the end all be all have all, right? Well, there's a lot of people who do, right? If you go, look, I'm just going to make an example. You go to Japan, it's okay for them to pay for sex from a sex worker because they're getting offered a service. But they do that so that they don't step out on the marriage. But most women in Japan, they're like, that's cool because he paid for a service. I'm not mad about that. Now, women in the U.S., like, that is the same as cheating for a lot of women in the U.S. Like, oh, heck no, he didn't just do that. And what is he bringing home, right? Like, there's all these things that go into that. Like, what am I not offering him? Why am I not enough, right? So, again, culturally, we have to look at those things. It might be different if you're with somebody from a different cultural background. If you're not on the same foundation with them or on the same page, there's gonna be obvious misunderstandings. So again, it's about being open and communicating openly with another person and being willing to share vulnerable information about yourself so that you can invite a safe space for them to open up and share vulnerabilities with you. Yeah, disruption. This needs to be disrupted. Okay, there needs to be a break in this pattern. It's like, this is a common pattern. It's like you may be putting yourself out there, but then this pattern arises and you're like, yeah, you know what? No, it's cool. Like, I don't want to go down that road. I'm just going to cut myself off before it gets too much. Like, there's already an ick coming out. But I feel like it's the emotional ego that's having its runway with you. Like, oh, it's just better for us to stay single instead of with somebody, because who wants to be with anybody when we've been hurt this much? But that doesn't mean that everybody you meet is going to hurt you that way, because you've already learned how to protect yourself from situations like that. Okay. Yeah, so we have the Midas and the Miser energy. Interesting. We have entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold, delight in sharing life's riches. So again, a focus on work here. There's definitely a focus on work. And the shadow is hoarding money or emotions. Obsessive fear of losing your wealth. And I also feel like that extends to the emotions of losing yourself, right? So there's definitely a fear of losing something here. And there's a fear that you can't share with somebody. Like, no one's going to understand me. But you know, the more you say that to yourself or to others, like, no one's going to understand me, the more that's going to be your truth, the more that's going to be your reality, right? So rather than seeing that, it's like, there are plenty of people who understand me, and those are the people who I'm attracting into my life. We have self-indulgence, self-worth and value, time to heal, shadow work, and self-appreciation. So right away, Source showing like this is a part of your shadow that's coming up, and that's okay, right? We're not judging it. There's no reason to judge it, because judgment only makes that stuff linger way longer than it needs to. What is the shadow coming from? Backstabbing, heartbreak and pain, separation and loss, deceptions, lies, and a shocking attack. You've been hurt a lot. And it's nothing you did to deserve that. Like, you never deserved the pain that you went through. It's something that happened along your journey. But now it's time to heal from that. It's time to let go and let yourself emerge as your truthful self. Let's get one more from this deck, Source. For pile number 1. What do they need to know about love? This one. Thank you. Bottom of the deck, we've got old school. Outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. Hear that song? I think about it over and over again. I replay it over and over again, 'cause it's all in my head. Right? It's like all in your head. It's like, it's not to say that it's less real or that it's not something that has or hasn't happened. That's not what it is. But it's like, when we're replaying the same old song over and over again in our head, it becomes who we are, and that's all we can become. And it's like there's some sort of tangledness here. Like, look at how the tape is tangled. Angel. Sorry, she's licking my feet. She's been licking my feet like almost part of, like, over half of this reading. I'm just done. There's like something here that's tangled, right? And there's definitely, with me getting exasperated right now, there's like some sort of exasperation with this as well. I feel like your spirit is trying to ask you to let go so that you can open up. But there's something about it you just don't want to let go of. Like, there's something about it that you're just like, it's stubborn, right? It's an obstinate refusal to change. And that's okay. It's just being willing to find a solution from your soul. Sometimes all you need to do is ask yourself, what's the best solution for me? And then being open to the answer. Not the answer you want to hear, but the answer that's right for you. Okay? Yeah, it's time to take action. New moon in Aries. Okay. Let's see what we've got going on here. Mars. So you could be an Aries or have Aries highly aspect in your chart. We did get Sagittarius energy here. We do have Sag, Pisces, Virgo, and Leo energy. Move forward and defend self. Yeah, and I feel like this is also from ourselves. We have to defend ourselves from ourselves, which happens sometimes. You know, like even with boundaries. Sometimes it's not even about setting boundaries with another person. It's about setting boundaries with ourselves, right? Just like if all you do all day, every day is watch Netflix and you never get up and do anything that's creative, right? You have to set a boundary with yourself. Okay, so maybe I set a timer for 2 hours and then I go and work on creative energy for an hour, right? It's like you have to, that's a boundary you set with yourself. Sometimes it's not about other people. It's really about self here. And I feel like with defend self here, it's just showing you like you have to move forward and defend yourself from yourself. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done here, but that's okay. You have the willpower to do so with Tiger and Will. I feel like you're not giving yourself enough credit for how much you've overcome and how much you've done and the journey that you've been on. It's almost like you're just ready to throw in the towel. Like I just don't want love at all. Like what's the point of love? But I do feel like love is something that's meant to be on your journey and you're meant to experience something beautiful. But if you give up on it, you're never going to get to that chapter in your life where something wonderful does happen to you because you closed off to it. And so it's just about reopening your heart to that experience. Yeah, sacrifice with Bull. There's something here that you've been stubbornly holding on to. And it feels like with all this lightning, something that's it's the thoughts that you have in your mind. Like, oh, I'm not worthy, or I'm not enough, or, you know, if everybody hurts me, why would anybody else not hurt me? The people you meet in your now moment are not the people from your past. Right? And if you immediately put that judgment on them, then that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The minute that they give you that energy, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It doesn't mean that they're actually that person. Right? We sometimes put that expectation on people and they fulfill it in some way, shape, or form, or even just a little bit of a memory from a person, a way they act, the way they talk, the way they move. And we're like, oh, nope, that's it. We're not giving them a chance. Right? Yeah, consciousness. This is bringing the subconscious to the consciousness. Being aware of it. Gossip. We have awakens consideration for the feelings of others. Okay, like let's just stop right there. The feelings of others. This is something that's been coming up this whole reading. It's like hard for you to see where another person's coming from. And again, I'm not here trying to point the finger. That's not what this is. It's just the energy is here. And this, I've been in this energy too. Right? Like I've been in this energy where I'm just like, nope. I remember after I broke up with my ex, I mean, I've been single for 8 years now. And it's a chosen single. I chose to be single because I chose to heal myself. And that was the excuse I started with. But now that's the truth of where I'm at. Because I realize I don't want to bring a lot of baggage into another relationship. But when I started this journey, that's what I held close to myself. And I was pursued by a lot of different people. And the minute that they did something that I felt like was out of line, instead of talking to them, I just blocked them. I was like, no, ew, I don't want that person. They're not gonna match me where I'm at. But see, I don't know. Like now that I think about it, all those people that I blocked, like, I don't know. I was just so hurt by so many different people. I just didn't want to go down that road again. And so I understand this energy. I understand healing from this energy too. It's not easy. It means you have to take accountability for the part that you played in it. And even if you are the victim and the one that got betrayed, like there's still a part that we played, you know, like part of it was, I remember why I got betrayed by the friend that I moved to North Carolina with, right? I knew my intuition was telling me that something was off and I didn't listen to my intuition. I stuck it out. And then when my intuition was right, you know, I just kept pushing it aside. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. No, she would never do that to me. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then it happened and I was absolutely flabbergasted by it. So I had to play the part and do what I needed to do to get out of there. But then when I stop and I look back now and I realize like my intuition was right the whole time. I should have just trusted what I was feeling. But I was being stubborn because I was still in a place where I didn't trust my intuition fully. And that's just a part of the journey, right? That's just a part of the journey. It's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. None of this makes you a bad person. But we see it as a bad person because we would judge another person going through this or being this way as a bad person. But maybe instead of judging another person, realizing it's just a part of the journey and accepting that it's okay. We go through these ups and downs, these highs and lows, these good moments and bad moments, right? They're just labels that we put to things so that we can understand what we're experiencing. But it says honoring trust. And the shadow is thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidence. But I really feel like gossip came out because of that. Awakens consideration for the feelings of others. Now, it's not just your feelings that are taking into play here. It's okay to take consideration for the feelings of others. I feel like this one wants to go next. Believe in the impossible. Yeah, so love is meant to be on your journey. Believe in the impossible. And something beautiful, but again, a lot of truth coming through here. Being honest with yourself is the key to getting there. And being honest with ourselves is sometimes the hardest thing that we're doing. Look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. Yeah, so right now it feels like you're looking at it from, you know, like a small peephole. You're not seeing everything that there is. It's like, oh, everybody's betrayed me. And so I'm seeing through the lens of this perspective. Rather seeing it as everyone in my past betrayed me, but that's not everyone from my future and my present. So I open up to experiencing the here and the now as it unfolds before me, right? That's looking at the bigger picture. So just allowing yourself to say, I acknowledge you. I know you were hurt in the past, but I also know that that was a past, and we don't have to bring the past into the future. We don't have to bring the past into here and now, right? And I appreciate you for protecting me all those times, but I'm ready to let go. And to let go, it means I'm going to face these situations still with the fear on my heart, but know that it's okay for me to stay open. Love, unconditional love, self-love, and wholeness. Affection and attraction and selflessness. So love is meant to be a part of your journey. Unconditional love for self is where it starts. Feeling whole. Seeing yourself through eyes of unconditional love and acceptance, right? And that is going to resonate out into the world where you call that in a partner, in soul tribe, in friendships, whatever you're looking for. So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. The only thing that is real is love. Shift your focus back to love. What a powerful message for you, pile one. And you chose the heart chakra gemstone. So again, it's about opening your heart here. We have number 7. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. You may have been conditioned to dwell on problems. It is important to remember that true reality is love. Choose to take a deep breath and focus on what is true. Negativity will disappear when you affirm everything is okay when I choose to love. There are many things you can do to shift into a more loving flow. Work at having healthy, encouraging conversations with yourself and others. Squash any negative inner dialogue and notice the positive aspects and people in your life. Be realistic about what is going on in your life. Yes, only love is real, but there is sadness, depression, doubt, worry, and anger. This card is about finding balance in your life, so the challenging times are not overwhelming, and you are able to remember that love is at the core of everything. This represents the tree of life, rooted in the earth and extending toward heaven. While you're having a human experience, it can appear that you are alone, yet in the heavenly realm, we are all one and love prevails. There are multiple images in this card that symbolize peace, love, and support. Find and meditate on some that you are optimistic about. And you can take a screenshot of this and meditate on it later. I think that the main thing here is reminding you to shift your focus from that negativity that you went through. Did you deserve any of that? Absolutely not. But there's a lot of self-fulfilling prophecy here on staying focused on the bad and not inviting in the good. And again, it's just a part of our journey. We're shifting, right? We're always shifting. And this is the shift right now that's being asked of you, is to shift into a more love-focused, centered mindset. And that will help open you up to opportunities that will attract the love into your life that you want, okay? So I'm sorry that you've had to go through this in the past, but remember that you are so deserving of the love that you desire, okay? So if you felt like this was your message, leave the little tree emoji. I'll let you pick which one. There's a whole bunch of them. Leave a tree emoji down below and say, I let go of the past and I step confidently, grounded and centered into the present moment, knowing that I have a right to experience the relationships I currently have from a place of open-heartedness. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. So I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message today. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Taurus on it, or perhaps you felt called to this smoky quartz gemstone for the throat chakra with the seed sound hum on it. Or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be your reading on what you need to know about love right now. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. Your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing. And I'm deeply honored to be here sharing this human experience with you. So that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out pile number 2. What do you need to know about love right now? What do you need to know about love right now, pile 2? So we got the 7th house, Scorpio, and Mars energy. Love when the 7th house shows up in love readings. So this could be for someone who has had a legal separation. There's a couple messages, okay? This is for someone who's had a legal separation or divorce. This is also for someone who's trying to heal from past aggressive marriages or aggressive relationships. Also, this could be for someone who is healing from someone who is very manipulative or toxic in the past. And right now there's a lot of self-empowerment, and that's a really good place to be at, okay? And that's a really solid ground to start on. There's also this need to continue to exert yourself, your boundaries, but also to know that it's okay for you to be seen. It's okay for you to put yourself out there. There's definitely a fear that's coming up here. Like a fear of something repeating itself, or a fear of just like going down this rabbit hole of love and not being able to come back out and unscathed, right? And that's what this really feels like. And so it just feels like there's something here that you're hiding from. And specifically, I said this in pile 1 too, but it's been true since the collective message. So you might resonate with the collective message in the beginning, which you'll find timestamp down below. It's not an obligation, but I am putting it out there for those of you that do feel called to it. There's a lot of sexual energy coming through on this reading, and I don't normally get that on a lot of my readings, and so I have to mention it. But there's like a fear of expressing yourself sexually, or there's a fear of expressing yourself sensually, right? Like trusting in the sacral chakra to lead you in this journey in a fluid way. And there's that fear that's coming in because maybe your sensuality has been judged, or maybe you're even hearing a voice from the past where you feel like you have to judge your sensuality or you don't belong. And so this could very well be true for those of you who feel part of the LGBTQ plus community as well. Like there's a lot of stigma around sensuality, sexual expression, who you choose to be with. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a part of that community at all. You could just be someone that does feel that way or has been convinced to feel that way at some point on the journey. And so there's definitely a lot of healing from those past oppressive relationships coming in here, and I feel like that's something that's being said with the dice. So let's go ahead and hop to it and see what the tarot says. All right, what do you need to know about love? I feel like there's an uncertainty here. Like maybe you want to explore something and there's maybe a stigma around what it is that you'd like to explore. Like, okay, I'm going to mention some things, and I know that there might be some people that have a problem with some of the things that I'm going to mention, but again, we're not here to judge another's preference. If it's not ours, then that's okay. It's not what's right or wrong for everyone else. It's what's right or wrong for ourselves. So there's definitely like furries coming in, or there's another term that's coming up and I cannot remember it, where people are wearing the And you guys might know what I'm talking about. You can definitely comment it down below if you know. I just can't remember the name right now, where they're wearing a mask, like an animal mask, and they design the mask themselves. And it's not necessarily like being a furry, but it's like acting out like an animal. And I can't remember that. And again, no judgment. I just don't remember what it's called. I've seen it. I've studied it, and I just totally, the name is eluding me right now. You know, we could have some bronies on here. We could have some people who are role playing, something like that. Like I said, there's a lot of fantasies or want to just be who you are and not be judged by it. And there's been a lot of judgment in the past. And so even if it's not what you might see as outrageous, like something that I may have mentioned, but there's still this fear of being judgment based on what it is that you want. So again, I do feel like this is a pretty explorative pile when it comes to things in the bedroom and connections even. So you could be in a poly situation, and you know, again, I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm just here to share the energy that's coming through. But I do feel like there's just a lot of stigma around what it is that you feel comfortable with, and then feeling like I can't express that. And so there's a need to be able to let go of the fear that's emotionally holding you back in that expression, whatever that is. And know that if people do judge you for it, then that's okay. Like, this is definitely an undercurrent for the collective right now. It's okay that they're judging you, because that's information for you to make a discerning decision to move forward, right? Like, let them judge, but don't take that personally. That's the thing. It's not your business what they feel about who you are, right? And at the end of the day, it's really not their business to feel any one way, certain way about you. But again, we can't stop people from feeling how they feel, right? We can't control that. We can only control ourselves. Yeah, there's been a lot of manipulation here on this pile. Okay. This could even be someone that you're with could still be toxic. Like I said, this could be for anybody. Somebody that's with somebody that's single, somebody that has a potential, whatever it is. I'm leaving it open to source, but just know that this could resonate with any of those situations. Okay, so it wants to come out this way. Bottom of the deck, we have, yeah, okay. All right, so Source wants you to know that you have options. Like, you don't have to just keep staying in a situation with someone who's really toxic for you. With the Emperor in the reverse, it does point to me to someone who's narcissistic. I am not here to label someone, and I'm not here to diagnose, but I will talk about the energies that come through with this card in the reverse. It's someone who's incredibly vicious, someone who is emotionally, mentally, and verbally abusive. Okay, this is someone, they could be physically abusive too, right? This is someone who just doesn't care. Like, they just think that their way is the right way, their way is the only way, and if you don't get in line with their way, they're gonna squash you like a bug. And that's the thing. And there's a very unfair energy here. This could be from a past relationship, this could be a current relationship. And please know that even in a current relationship, I understand it's hard to see that there are options. And I just want to talk about this for just a second. It's hard to see a way out, right? I was with a narcissist for 8 years, and I get it. And even after I broke up with him, I still lived with him for a year after that in a sexless roommate type situation. Okay, it was just a really weird situation because I had to protect myself. Every time I did sleep with him, I got violently ill. Like, my spiritual body was like, no, we are not going back to that. Okay, so I understand that energy where it feels like there were no options, but options started to become available when I changed my mindset around it. When instead of looking at it like, oh, it's hopeless, I'm going to be stuck in this situation for forever, I started seeing like there are options available to me. And even though they didn't pop up right away, eventually something did come through and I was able to get away. I went clear across the country, 2,400 miles. It was crazy. I went clear across the country, got away from him, and I started healing from that situation. So there's always options, even if they don't pop up right now. And even if it feels hopeless, it's just remaining hopeful that there's going to be an option that does arise for you. And I know that's really hard when you're dealing with somebody like this, okay? But I want to remind those of you that may be involved in this situation right now, right? Especially with this, there does feel like there's somebody here that's very aggressive, or there's an energy here that's very aggressive, very controlling, very much like, I want to control how you feel at every second of the day. And if I can't, then I'm going to make your life a living HE double hockey stick, okay? And that's not fair to you. You don't deserve this. You didn't do anything to deserve this. Even if this person's trying to convince you that it's your fault, it's not. They're very much projecting themselves onto you. They're very much trying to make you their dumping ground. Okay, like that's what they're doing. And again, it's about control for them, so that they can have a sense of grandiosity, I think is the word here. And that's this energy where it's like, even if they might be a covert narcissist, right, they still have this sense of superiority that's coming through, like, I'm the leader, I'm the one that should be in charge, I'm the one that controls everything and everyone around me, and you're a part of that. So you're being seen as an extension of them, and so they're trying to whip you into shape, if you will, for a lack of better term here. And that's not fair for you. And so what Source is reminding you with the Two of Wands on the bottom of the deck is that there are options available, and there are ways for you to find a way out of this. And this could be healing from this situation to me. This is something from the past. And Source is saying there are options for healing here. Okay, you can manifest a better situation in your life. You can manifest the love that you want in your life. But right now, the love is on the table. Like, look, his cups are on the table. Love is on the table. Okay, right now it's about action. There's a need for action. Okay, and there's a need to materialize that action. So whether that's actively protecting yourself, or if that is taking, like, figuring out how to connect with somebody who can help you, a group, a chat, a hotline, or something like that, or going to therapy that can help too. So these are all things that are action based, especially with Mars here. Aries energy. So a lot of Mars energy here with the Aries and the Mars energy coming out. So a lot of action. But don't fight back. This is not about being aggressive back to this person, because it's only going to escalate things. This is about fighting for yourself. Okay, and that's what's coming out here. Yeah, okay. What do we have? Okay. All right. There's hope. Okay. We've got the 10 of coins here in the upright. And so there's a need to see things differently. Okay. There's a promise this is a promised land. The 10 of coins. That's what I'm hearing. This is the promised land. We have the promised land available to you. There's an option here for you to free yourself from this really overwhelming situation. Okay. This is a really overwhelming situation. This is someone who is dedicated to misunderstanding you. This is just someone who doesn't see you for who you are or what your value is. And so they're always, every time you feel good about yourself, like, they're doing everything that they can to make you question your worth, to question your value, to question yourself. And they've done a good job of it in the past, but I do feel like Source is just reminding you the promised land is here. And it's about switching how you're seeing this situation, right? Put love on the table for now. Even the thoughts that come with this situation. This is about taking action to a brighter day. Brighter days are gonna come. Like, it's like I don't think that's exactly how it goes, but it's a Sigala song, and it's brighter days. That might mean something to you, or that might be a song that you can listen to for additional meanings. But yeah, it's like they want you to look at brighter days are going to come. This has been a very, very difficult situation. This person's impulsive. This person is indecisive. This person also, this is someone who everything that they experience that is overwhelming is your fault, and it's not, right? So, like, say this person stubs their toe. They're the one that stubbed their toe. They could stub it on the counter or on the cabinet. The cabinet never moves, but somehow you're the person who put that cabinet there just so that they could stub their toe. Like, that's the type of energy this person's in. Of course, hearing it, right, from me, it probably sounds absolutely absurd. Like, of course I didn't put the counter there. Like, why would I do that? Like, why would I be like, oh, stub your toe? You know, like, it's just not something that you would do, right? But for them, they want to control how you feel. Look, let me give you an experience that I went through way back. This is when I was much, much younger. I must have been like 21 or 22. And my boyfriend at the time, he was diagnosed bipolar, schizophrenic. He was wild. He was a wild guy. But I remember sitting in our 2-bedroom home. I had a friend over, and my friend and I were in our walk-in closet sitting on the floor looking for a movie because we had tons of movies. And so we had the movies out on the floor. We were going through them trying to find one that we wanted to watch. and he had an episode, and he came into the room, and I had my high heels sitting on the opposite side of the room. So literally we had a bed in between us and even floor space in between us. My friend and I are in the closet, and he grabs the high heel, my high heel, and he starts whacking himself on the head until he's bleeding. Okay, and my friend and I are watching this just completely flabbergasted. Like, what is going on with him right now? And he started screaming at my friend, "Look at what she made me do!" And my friend is like, "How did Becky make you do that? We're sitting here in the closet. She hasn't even touched you." And he got so mad, he chucked the high heel in our direction. And then he went and he screamed at the door, and he slammed the door shut, and he ran down the stairs, and he's like, "Ah!" I mean, he was wild. And my friend is looking at me, and she's like, you're dealing with this like all the time? And I was like, "Oh, it happens. But for a minute, I started to take that on until she's like, "Becky didn't do anything to you. She's sitting over here in the closet." And it took her telling him that for me to realize it wasn't my fault. Like, immediately went to taking blame. I immediately went to shouldering blame because that's the stuff I'd been dealing with, right? And so I definitely get that type of energy. I understand what that feels like. It's hard. It's hard to overcome that stuff. Like, there were times in that house, in that particular house that we lived in, there were times that I had to lock myself in the bathroom. One time I had to lock myself in the bathroom, and I had to call 911 because he was threatening to kill me. It was wild. I still stayed with him. And that maybe you look at me as my character's flawed or something like that, but back then I didn't know any better, right? Like, I was leading my life from my trauma. And so it's like, I felt like I was more attached to the idea of the relationship than I was to the relationship itself. But I stayed in the relationship because I needed somebody, and I didn't know how to love myself, right? And so when I finally realized like there were options, I called family, and family helped me get out of that situation. But it took me putting my pride aside to actually connect with somebody who had the ability to help me. And so sometimes it's just us putting down like, "Oh, I can't call so-and-so because it's a worse situation." But is it really? There's a lot that's going on here. There's a lot with the Hangman and the Emperor in the reverse. Like, there's a lot that you're dealing with emotionally and mentally. Like, there's a lot. So it's just like remembering it's okay to do the thing that seems so scary to protect yourself. And for those of you that have gone through this and you're healing, sometimes it's just about putting the emotional ego of blame aside and realizing like the younger version of you that was still in this situation just didn't know any better. And it's okay. It's okay to accept that part of yourself and to integrate that into your journey instead of blaming yourself. You know, I could sit here and be like, "Oh, younger Becky, you know, you're so dumb. How could you stay with him for so long? Like, how could you put yourself through that?" And I'm guilty of that too. I've done that a lot on my journey. But at the end of the day, it's like I realized that when I look at my younger self who was going through those situations, that was before I dealt with the narcissistic guy that I was with for 8 years. I was with that guy for 5 years. And, you know, like before that, like I realized it's like I was so bent on getting away from family that I allowed myself to stay in situations that were far more toxic than what I was dealing with at home. And my pride was everything in those times. And that's why I stayed, as like, I felt like I had the power to change these people, and I didn't, because I can't change anybody. I can only change myself. And so I look at myself and I look at my younger self and I think, if only I could have gone back and told her it'll be okay and it'll get better, then, you know, maybe she would have let go sooner. But I don't know. I can only accept her for the decisions that she made in that time and know that those experiences have led me to this moment. And I'm grateful that I'm here in this moment because I've learned so much from just observing myself over these years. And that's the thing here. And it's like just remembering yourself. There's a promised land of hope and stability here. Maybe financial stability, yes, but more than anything, Source wants to say it's in the mundane. This is in the physical world. There's stability here for you, and that is an option. And it's just, again, with all this Aries energy, it feels like putting aside your pride or putting aside your want to fight and really just looking at what is available to you, and remembering that if you do choose to fight, like, the only one that can blame you is you, right? Like you're your own best friend and you're also your own worst enemy at the end of the day. No matter who's toxic in your life or who's mistreating you, we're the voice that we hear the most, right? We're the voice that we hear all the time. And that voice can take on different people in our lives, but still that's the voice that we're hearing, is our voice inside our heads. And so that's the thing. It's like, if this person or these people have impressed upon you that you're not worthy or you're not enough or you'll never find anything better, right? That's the illusion that you're buying into that has now turned into that internal voice. You can let that go by choosing to see your value. And it's not a one and done thing. It's a consistent practice that you show up for. Yeah, look at this. We have yang energy here. Aries, Leo, Sag, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with proactivity, expression, doing, and moving and forward motion. So there's something here about taking action. There's a need to take action, and Source is being really clear about that. The energy is really, really palpable. Like, I feel it. I'm going to close the blind behind me. It's so bright behind me right now. Hold on just a second. Look, it's such an awkward angle. I have those slide blinds in the RV, so. What else for pile number 2, Source? Yeah, and I feel like this is what might be blocking you from love, if that's something that you're looking for. Like, there's also this wish for a knight in shining armor, and I'm going to use that term loosely because you could be a guy here hoping that there's a lady in shining armor coming, right? And that's something that's coming up. And it's just like, no one's going to save you if you can't save yourself. And that's unfortunate, but it's a very real thing. If you don't make a choice for yourself, no one's going to come in and say, hey, they're treating you awful, let's get out of here. And while there are people who do that, they're very few and far in between, right? So that's why it's so important for you to choose to actively save yourself from the situation. So there's a lot of secrets that are going on behind your back. There's a lot that you don't know about too. So I do feel like there's a lot that's being kept from you right now, from people in your life or from maybe this person. And Source is saying, like, like your intuition has been trying to tell you, but there's something here that you're just, maybe you're ignoring your intuition, or it's not telling you what you want to hear. Something that came up not too long ago is that Source is not a puppet on strings. Right? So Source isn't going to do what we tell Source to do. Source has plans for us, and we have to trust those plans. But sometimes if Source doesn't tell us the message we want to hear, we don't think it's the message for us, when there's actually very valuable information in those messages for us. But it's because it makes us do the thing that we don't want to do, or it makes us face the thing that we don't want to face. We're like, oh no, that can't possibly be for me. But that's where success comes from, with the success card coming out. But Source is also telling you, like, success comes from you choosing yourself here. Okay, there is success in the future, also success in love, but there's also a need to let go of the connection. So if this is a past relationship, there's a need to cut ties here with this relationship. There's a need to relieve yourself of the burden that this has brought into your life. Yeah, and come back to your sweetness. Come back to the light that shines within you, and realize that you are worthy and you have a lot to offer. I feel like at times you feel like there's just, like, who wants you? If this person didn't want you, why would anybody else want you? And I felt like that with my ex. In fact, I remember one time we had just started dating, and we were in a snowstorm in Colorado, and so we were just cleaning off the car, and he came out and he said, my family says I'm too good for you. That's what he said to me. And it blew my mind. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Who said that? And I kept asking him, who said that? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you that. And I was like, who said that? I want to know who said that to you. And he's like, no, I'm not going to tell you that. But he, like, always would tell me stuff like that. And it was only to break down my sense of self-worth. It's not that it was true. In fact, I think that was a blatant lie. No one in his family told him that. Because later I got pulled aside by so many of his family members, and they would ask me why I was with him, because he was just like his dad. His dad was crazy, and his dad did all kinds of things. He was physically abusive, emotionally abusive, sexually abusive, like all these things, all the things I was going through. They're like, why are you with him? Like, I remember his auntie pulled me aside once, and she's like, this is how my husband was. And she's like, I don't want you to grow up having spent your whole life with somebody like that, and one day looking back and regret why you didn't leave. This was at the very beginning of our relationship that this stuff happened. And I just never listened to it, because I was like, oh, I'm going to change him. They don't know what they're talking about. He's different than that. Like, I was in it deep. But all those things, they happened. And I looked back and I was like, man, if I had just listened to that information at the beginning, I wouldn't have spent 8 years in that connection. I wouldn't have been there dealing with that for so long. And the same with my first boyfriend that I was with for 5 years. Like, if I had just listened to people who really did want better for me, and I just kept thinking that they didn't, right? If I, like my mom didn't like him at all. And she's like, you know, I just think you deserve somebody who treats you better. And I feel like you deserve somebody who's supportive of you. And I just don't see that with him. And I just like, oh, you guys don't know. You guys don't know. You know, like, I was just stuck in my pride. And sometimes we get that way, and that's okay. Like, I can't be mad at my younger self for that. She did what she felt was best. Yeah, go big or go home. There's a need to take, like, direct action here. And something it's big. It feels almost explosive. It feels very explosive. Okay? Yeah, look at this. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. Okay, so there's this need to remind you that you are safe. You are protected. Like, I do feel like there's a decision that you need to make that's come up with love recently. And it keeps poking at you. Like, you know that this is the way it has to be. But there's something about it that you're just like, well, but what am I going to do? How am I going to execute this? And I feel like if you truly lean into it, the answers are going to come. Like, Source is going to meet you and say, I got you. Don't worry. Okay? Yeah, look, a new start is coming with the new moon. This is a chapter, a new beginning for you. A chapter of freedom is what it feels like. A chapter of relief. This really feels like a chapter of relief. Okay? Like I can take a breath. I can let go. I don't have to stick on the edge of my seat anymore, right? Like, in constant stress and constant fear and constant worry and constant whatever, right? Yeah, evolving and growth, next phase, healing inner child, releasing the past, the butterflies. So for some, this is a past relationship, and Source wants you to focus on this right now. Instead of trying to invite in fresh love, it's focusing on letting go of those past issues, right? And it's like, that's why I try to share some experiences that I've been through, because I know how hard it was to let go. And you know, Stockholm Syndrome is a real thing. Like that, when I left my ex, my narcissistic ex, like, I had to convince myself just one more day. And I know I've shared this story before, but it's like, every day that I was gone, I chose to ghost him. I was the person that ghosted him, and I'm sure I'm the villain in his story because of that. But what I went through and what I experienced with him, I had no other opportunity or choice, because I knew if I talked to him, I was going to let him talk me into coming back. And so I had to tell myself every day, just one more day. Just one more day, we're not going to talk to him. Just one more day. And after about 3 months, I was able to finally just, okay, I'm not going to ever talk to him again. Like, I was able to let go. But every day I woke up, and that's what I would tell myself. When I would pick up my phone and I would ache to talk to him. Ache. Even though I knew he was the worst person for me. He was so toxic for me. Right? I would just ache and ache and ache. And I'd be like, I need to reach out to him. I need to reach out to him. And I would just tell myself. And that was a promise I made to myself every day. Not, I promise I'll never reach out to him again. That wasn't what it was. The promise was when I woke up, just one more day. Just today. Like, let's just make it through today. That's the promise I made to myself. And somehow I made it. It didn't have to be some grand sweeping notion. It was something small that I focused on every day that helped me get through that. That helped me get to the next phase of my life, that helped me start letting go, that helped me started healing from that. Okay. All right. So this is a thing. We do have Twin Flames card. This coming out. This doesn't come out often. All right. Yin and yang, balance, duality, union, complement, polar opposites. There's somebody here who's been desperately or deeply hurt by somebody, and they've labeled it as a twin flame. And look, the thing is that I'm not here to change your label. Okay, I'm not here to say it is true, it is not true, that is not. In fact, no psychic should ever say that, because your experience is your experience alone. And Source has a really unique, funny, interesting way of humbling us all on the journey. But what I'm saying is, like, when we hold on to a label, it minimizes our experience, right? Maybe we are experiencing something that is unexplainable. So if something's unexplainable, why are we going to give it a label that limits us? And that's what I'm saying. Like, if this is somebody who's incredibly toxic for you that you've labeled as a twin flame, that's a limit, right? You're saying, oh, it's okay for me to put up with this, but because it's a twin flame. Like, this is what Source promised. But Source never promised a twin flame journey was going to be that miserable, where we were getting physically molested or abused or hurt or harmed and emotionally just brushed off or whatever. I want you to understand that's not what Source had promised. Okay? Like, Source promised a love. The love comes from within. It's not about another person. That's what this journey is all about. It's about finding the love within and letting that love lead you to somebody who's going to match you in this physical world. Not the person who maybe started our journey, but the person who's going to step up on the healing journey with us and take a part in that. And I feel like this is such a hard journey because I myself resonated with this many, many times. I still do, but I understand it on a deeper level now. I've spent so much time with Source with this journey, and that's why I stopped doing love readings, because I feel like people are just so attached to the label, they're not seeing a truth. And when I let go of the label, I started understanding a truth. And I actually asked this in pile 1. You could be here from pile 1 as well, because it did come up in pile 1. Not the card, but the label. And I had mentioned it. It was like, if we're holding on to a person, have you asked yourself, are they in alignment with me? Is this person actually good for me? Not connecting with our higher self, right? Because we're sharing a higher self. Not connecting with our higher self, but connecting with their 3D person. Are they actually in alignment with you? And if the answer is no, can you be okay with that? Can you be okay and use that as information to make a better decision for yourself? I'm not going to tell you what to do, because you have to do what's right for you. But you have to also understand that if you're staying in a situation because it's got a label on it, even if that label is marriage, even if that label is boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever, that label should never be so strong that it keeps us in a situation that is literally killing us from the inside out. Okay? And that's something to keep in mind here. And I feel like that's a really powerful message for you. I feel like I want to get one of these for you. I know, Zoe. Just a second, baby. My older dog, she just came in. She's such a dork. She busts in like Thug Life. She comes in and she stands around and looks at everybody like, yo, I'm here. What's up? She's so funny. She learned that from my older dog that I had to put down a couple years ago. Aria, that was her name. I always called her as like, here she comes, Thug Life. I always called her Thug Life because she did. She'd bust the door open. What you doing in here? And then she'd stare at me like, you didn't ask me to come with you. Idyllic memories, peace and tranquility. What did I say? You're moving into a time of relief, peace, tranquility, freeing yourself from something that has been really heartbreaking and overwhelming. You've been through enough, but we have to decide when enough is enough. It's not just one day we're gonna wake up and someone's gonna tell us. Like, I could tell you right now, you've been through enough, but if you don't make that decision for yourself, it's not gonna mean anything coming from me, right? I could tell you until I'm blue in the face, but it has to mean something for you. Look at this square. A challenging situation, a mountain to climb. This is something that's really, really difficult, and that tracks with the reading for sure. Look at this, the Watcher with the snow leopard. So there's somebody here who's keeping an eye on you to try to keep you in a small space and in a small frame of mind. They're spying on you, or they're trying to find out what it is that you're doing, or they're trying to keep you small because they don't want to see you succeed. But you're about to move into a new phase in your life, okay? Look at this, self-doubt, feelings of inadequacy. We talked about this. That came out really powerfully in your reading. This feeling of like, I don't matter, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, like, what's the point of moving on? Like, what's the point of anything right now? And there's so much that you have to experience in life, and there's so many beautiful things that Source has for you, and you're going through a transformation phase, but you're the only one that can choose the next step, right? And as much as I wish I could give that to you, I can't. I don't have that power. Nobody has that power. But I can promise you, if you pray and you ask Source to help you with that next step, Source will meet you right there and help carry you across that line if you need. But you have to make the choice to do that. You might really resonate with Archangel Zadkiel too. He's the one that helped me leave from my narcissistic ex. He's the one that came in and really helped me have the courage to say, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. Okay? No. No! No! Are you serious? Oh my gosh. What just happened? What just happened? That was so wild. I felt so called to share that with you. And we have the Archangel Zadkiel card coming out. No. Thank you so much, Source. Just thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Compassion, freedom, and forgiveness. And the feeling I'm getting is freedom. There's freedom from something here. Freedom from something that's challenging, but with him being the 41 card, which breaks into 5, there's an uncomfortable stage of change that's coming. Okay, or that's here. But trust in that process. Trust that it's okay to be uncomfortable, and trust that, and I feel like with Archangel Zadkiel, where I mentioned him, and how he's the one that helped me leave this situation that I was in, I feel like he's coming forward with this card and with that message that I shared saying, I'm here for you 100%. I will give you the courage. I will give you the strength. I will walk the walk with you. I will wrap you in my wings and I will carry you to the finish line. All you need to do is invite me in. And the way I did it, I just prayed in my mind. I was like, Archangel Zadkiel, please give me the strength because I don't have it. Oh, pile 2. I'm so sorry. I love you so much. You're beautiful and amazing and you matter and you are enough. And I'm so sorry you have to deal with this or have had to deal with this. I know it feels easier to give up, but there's something so beautiful waiting for you. And Archangel Zadkiel is such a powerful presence. And if you don't pray to the angels, that's okay. Ask Source. Ask whatever you believe in to help you get there. And I promise you they'll show up. Oh my gosh. It's about being honest with yourself though, with the throat chakra. It's about being honest and asking for help from the spirit realm. They're waiting. You've been carrying it alone for so long and they're ready to take that burden from you. Tie up loose ends, the last quarter moon. There's an ending here. And the next chapter in your life is all about relief. It's not about love. It's about a time where you can focus truly on rebuilding yourself. And I know it's hard. It's like, well, what about love? Like, I want to know about love. I want love in my life, and you're going to get that love. But what they're trying to remind you is that right now is a time of building, of reconnecting with yourself and truly knowing who you are without these oppressive energies around you. I can't make this energy up. We have the healing heart, healing heartbreak, toxicity or addiction, and abusive relationship. Exactly. You're healing from this. That's what the next chapter in your life is healing from this. Coffee cup, meeting, talking, savoring the moment, feeling elevated, and building friendship. So it's about connections, building stable connections with people in your life. And that's what love is for you right now. And that's what's coming for you next. But Zadkiel coming through for you right now, it's so powerful. And he's such a powerful presence, such a loving presence too. And you know, one of the words that I myself started clinging to when I was on this journey was freedom. Because I wanted it so bad I could taste it. And I knew what it was like to be oppressed. I knew what it was like to be made feel small and like I was nothing. And still to this day, 8 years later and 15 years since I started my journey, right? Like a long time since I've started my journey. I still cling to that. That one word is freedom. And that's the word that really means the most. Why do I do this? Why do I do what I do? It's for freedom. It's freedom to be heard. It's freedom to share myself. It's freedom to be vulnerable and open and cry when I need to, or cry when I feel you cry, or share that with you because we deserve a safe space. You deserve a safe space. so much. You deserve a safe space, pile 2. You didn't deserve to go through all of this. And hear me when I say what they have told you, what they've made you feel, all the things that they put you through, it's all not true. You are so much more than the words that they laid on you. You were so much more than the words they buried you in the ground with. You were so much more than what they tried to make you out as. You have so much love and light, and the fact that you endured for so long shows how strong you are. And imagine if you gave that to something that you're really passionate about, and you gave that endurance to yourself. Who would you become? Because the world needs that. They need you so much. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry you had to carry it alone. But I want you to know you're not alone. You're not alone at all. And I believe in you. And I know you can do this. Because if I can, and I'm human like you, if I can do it, I know you can do it too. I'm not anybody that's super special or anything like that. I'm just a human trying to make it through this physical world too. And I did it. If I can do it, I know you can. And you're not alone. I felt those pains with you. I felt that heartbreak with you. I felt that abuse with you. I felt that loneliness with you. I felt that struggle with you. And please hear me when I say I love you. I love you with my heart. I love you. Because you deserve that love. Oh my goodness. Okay. Please know it's okay to cry. It's alright to cry. I'll cry with you. I am crying with you. Let's look at your last card here, okay? Let's see what this is, and I'll read this from the book. Listen with your heart. You're listening, but you need to hear with a loving heart. This is the number 1 card, which is have faith. Like, I feel like this is your intuition that's been trying to talk to you and tell you. But, you know, again, it's like our ego and our pride gets in the way, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a part of the journey. We have to learn to shift our trust to that quiet presence that resides within us. It's not something that's loud. It's not something that's overwhelming. It's soft and it's subtle, and it can be so powerful. And when we trust that, it can lead us to great things. And that's why I feel like this is here. It says the opportunity is here for you to bring a loving perspective to a situation. It is easy to get wrapped up in the words being said. What does your heart say about the situation? It knows the truth. Trust that. Sit still, take a deep breath, and ask your heart, what do you need to know? Love's first task is to listen. Do you have a habit of drifting away while someone else is speaking? Do you get entangled in your own thoughts? Take time to process what is being communicated before you respond or react. Learning to listen with an open heart will help you receive guidance or affirm something you already know. The seashell represents the good things that can be discovered in a challenging situation. The pod of dolphins playing in the background denotes joy that may be found. The white horse may be a call to control your emotions. Stop and listen. What do you hear, and how can it bring more happiness into your life? There are options available. You haven't been able to see the options though, because it is an emotionally overwhelming situation, and that's, again, not a blame. It's not a jab at you by any means. It's understandable going through something that's this hard to experience. But also when you come into a space of stillness, what do you see? What do you observe? What options come available? And I feel like you already know in your heart what's available to you, but you're scared to take that step. And courage is about taking the step even when fear is present. So asking your guidance system, your guidance team for help, and they'll be there to help give you that courage, okay?
I love you. I love you so much, Pile 2. You're not alone, okay? Here's a big, big, big energetic hug for you. You are enough and you matter right now.
So this is what I see for you here today. If you feel like this is your reading, leave the little mirror emoji down below and say, by trusting the internal voice, the one that speaks the truth, I know that I have options available and I choose to take a courageous step forward right now. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to Archangel Zadkiel for coming through in this reading today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, pile number 3, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the Pisces symbol on it, or perhaps you felt called to this amethyst crown chakra gemstone with the seed sound Om. Or maybe you're drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be a reading on what you need to know about love. Oh, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. Your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing. And I'm deeply honored to be here sharing this human experience with you today. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what your reading is. A lot of Libra and Pisces energy coming in for you, pile number 3. So there could be a Libra that's coming into your life, or a Pisces, or you could be a Libra or Pisces, or have that highly aspect in your chart. The other thing is balance here. That was something that I was getting, like there's a need to balance something out right now so that you can really call in that higher vibrational love, okay? Send me a higher love. That's the song I'm hearing right now. What do you need to know about love, pile number 3? Yeah, so the second house, Aquarius energy, and Mars. Mars has been a heavy contender today, so you could have watched all 3 piles with me, be here from the first 2 as well. And if you are, leave a purple heart down below. That makes you a part of my Purple Heart Club. And if you're here for pile 3 alone, that is perfectly fine. I appreciate anybody who spends any amount of time with me on these readings. So yeah, there's this need to really lean into your self-worth, but also being detached from an outcome with Aquarius energy here. I do feel like for love, for you, pile 3, it's more focused on building friendships and connections, like basically building your soul tribe, right? Connecting with soul tribe, like-minded individuals, and really sharing yourself, not being afraid of who you are and allowing yourself to be seen. Your whole freaky self, your weirdness, let it shine out, right? Don't let people try to put you back into a box. You've come a long way and you've healed a lot, but now it's about aggressively showing yourself out there in the world. That sounds really weird, but that's what they're showing me here. It's like just being free. Like if you want to say something silly, if you want to make a funny voice, if you want to sing a silly song, if you want to dance in the aisle at the store, like do all of those things. Like don't let the fear of what people think of you hold you back. This is a part of how you really start to connect with that inner child, but also how you feel valuable and worthy yourself, because you're not trying to make yourself fit into a box. Now, obviously, there's a time and place for everything, right? Obviously, you don't, and again, these are extremes that are coming through, but you don't want to run into a funeral and break out into song and dance at a funeral, especially if it's someone you don't know, right? Like, there's obviously a time and a place for everything. And I'm just saying this is an extreme example here, but when you get a nudge to let yourself shine or be who you are, then do that, right? I give you an example is if you spend any amount of time with me off of these readings, I actually talk in a lot of funny voices. Like, I'm not a very serious person, even though I'm very serious on these readings. It's because I'm channeling. But when you meet me in person, like, I'm very goofy. I sing songs, I make funny voices, I talk in Spanish randomly. Sometimes I'll talk in other languages if I know words in other languages, like I've been known to talk in French and stuff like that. Or if I learn a new word, I'm going to use that. I'm going to overuse that word, you know. But I'll also give advice to people I meet and stuff like that. But I'm just generally like a happy-go-lucky, goofy person. But again, a time and a place, right? Like, as my goof comes out on these readings for sure, but I'm here also to give you a message. So the channeling is a little bit different than my everyday person. But like, I dance, I make up songs. I make up some really weird songs. I sing songs to the dogs all day long with their names and stuff. And people are like, why are you singing to them? I was like, because I like it. You know, and they're like, how do you know? I just know. I just know they like it. They always listen when I make up songs about them. And so that's what they're saying. Don't stifle yourself right now, because that's how you're going to meet the people who are going to resonate the most with you. And that's a good thing, right? Like, that's a good thing. And so aggressively let yourself be seen. Story time. I was at the pool this last week with my niece and my nephew. They came up to visit. I adore them. Anyways, we went to the pool and we met these kids there. And they were kids. I mean, they were all, everybody was under 18, except for my niece and my nephew. Like, everybody was under 18. And it was a brother and a sister. And the brother was making fun of the sister because he was saying, oh, she's socially anxious. She, you know, she's awkward in social settings and stuff. And he's like, make fun of her. And we were all like, why? Why would we do that? Why would we make fun of her? And so I was mentioning, I was like, oh, it's like exposure therapy. Like, I get what you're trying to do, but making fun, it just kind of reiterates that feeling like I have to be awkward. And so I just let myself be who I am. I was singing things and we play Marco Polo, right? And a long time ago when I was with my twin nephews, I said, I don't know why I said this, but I was like, oh, it's El Mar Coco. And I answered, and we're going to yell out, Polito. And so we were doing that because we were just being goofy and silly. Like, there's nothing about it. No, it was just something that we said one time when we were hanging out in the pool. And so she started saying that with us. And so I was making these funny voices. I was like, El Mar Coco. And so she's like, oh, El Polito. And so we were just being so silly about it. But she like opened up because I was just being so goofy. Like, I was saying stupid things. I was just being goofy and I didn't care what I was saying. And sometimes those situations, like, you give permission to other people to let go of their hold on trying to fit into society standards. But when you're not fitting into society standards, you're rebelling against the system, right? And that's something that's really powerful for you personally, pile 3, in your love life. Like, that rebel against the system is going to allow you an opportunity to really connect with the people who resonate the most with you. But also, I feel like that's going to be what calls in a love partner for you as well. Someone who appreciates that and sees that, because that's the real side of you, is that weird side of you, right? Or what maybe you've labeled as weird at some point in time. It doesn't have to be goofy. It could just be like, maybe you say random facts about everything you see. You see an apple and you're like, hey, random fact about an apple. Or like, you see a shoe that somebody's wearing, you're like, hey, random fact about that brand. You know, like, it could be anything like that. It doesn't have to be any one certain thing, but I feel like it's just not stifling your freak flag, if you will. Let your freak flag fly, right? Especially with Aquarius here. Aquarians, they're awesome. We can learn so much from them, especially how to disassociate the societal norms. Like, Aquarians always test the boundaries of what's accepted and what's not, and they do so without attachment, right? Attachment to judgment, attachment to the outcome. Like, they do so just, it's almost like an experiment. Let me do a social experiment. Let me run up to this purple and yell poop 3 times is what I was gonna say. I have no idea what that means. I don't even know, okay? Maybe it's somebody wearing a purple shirt and you just want to yell poop 3 times, whatever, right? Like, but that's something an Aquarius would totally do, right? And they would totally label it that way too. So I feel like Aquarians definitely have so much to show the rest of us zodiac, right? So many powerful things that it's okay for us to be weird and not feel like we need to take it so personally how people see us, or even how we see ourselves, right? Just let ourselves be. Like, if we want to say something goofy, don't worry about how it sounded. Just be like, oh, move on from it, right? Kind of like if you're learning a new language. Like, so many of us struggle to speak a new language because we want to sound perfect. But Aquarius, they would be like, why do you want to sound perfect? You're just beginning. You're going to say it weird. You're going to have an accent. You're going to like not be able to roll your R's. You're not going to be able to make that noise, you know, whatever it is. Or like German, because Germans have a lot, you know, like in German, I took German in high school. A very like a guttural sound from the back of your throat, which is actually incredibly hard to make when you speak English, right? Like French, I couldn't even tell you what is a French noise that they make, like sacre bleu. Like I can't do that. I suck at French accents. Like I suck at it because I just don't know how to do it. I can do the rolling of my R's. I can do that just fine. Like I got you, you know, I can say it. But you know, it's like the certain accents I really struggle with because I just don't know how to make that noise yet. And I practice, but that's the thing. It's like just being weird about it, right? Why do we have to put ourselves like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do, why? Who said we can't do that? You know? Keep seeing Robin Williams right now. Maybe you're a comedian or you want to be a comedian, or like you say a lot of jokes and you're always afraid of the jokes that you say because you're afraid they're not going to go over well, or you're afraid people aren't going to understand them. Cool. The ones that don't understand them, they're not going to resonate with you. And I feel like that's the main thing that Source is saying here. Like, better to put yourself out there now so that you can realize like, oh, this person's not going to resonate with me. Cool. Peace out. Good luck. You know, like it's easier that way. Yeah, it feels like there's something here, like you're challenging authority with the Queen of Wands in the reverse. Like usually this is somebody who has a problem with authority, but in your energy, it's like you're challenging authority. This is like rebel energy to me right now, right? And you're successful at that. But to be successful at that is to put yourself out there, to be a leader among the masses. This is a choice you have to make, but it's also something that reflects back in your love life. Letting yourself be. So it's like if you're dating, like just an example, right? If you're dating someone, but you're like trying to be like, oh, you know, like I got to eat with all the right forks or whatever, and you have no idea what those forks are, when really all you want to do is be like the scene from Little Mermaid and be like, oh, look, I can comb my hair with this, right? Like, not that you would, I'm just saying like it might be something that you would think of, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to do that because they might think that I'm weird. Do it anyways. If they think you're weird, good. It made it easy for you. They vibed out, right? It doesn't make anything wrong with you. It's just, that's what Source is saying. Like, that's how you're going to bring in love, is by being yourself. There's something about you it gives people permission to be themselves and to let go of this idea that they have to fit into a neat package. Right? And with Aquarius here, it does feel like personality wise, like it feels like something about your personality that's meant to shine through. Like maybe you go through the drive-through and you sing into the microphone what it is that you want, and you're like, oh, I could never do that with somebody I'm dating with because what if they judge me, right? Do it anyways. Like those are the things, right? It can be anything, but they're trying to give me examples so that you know there's something here about you that's a little bit silly or goofy or weird, and they want you to own that because that's what's gonna bring in the person for you, or that's what maybe this is what has brought the person in for you, and they love that about you. Definitely a lot of mental wondering here, like, is it worth rebelling against the system in this way? Like, what if I get caught, or what if somebody like really has it out for me because I'm like this, or what if someone has a huge judgment based on that? Like, it feels like maybe you're someone who practices voices, right? We were talking about accents. So let's go back to that. Like you've been practicing accents and you've been trying to master certain ones. And like maybe someone somewhere along the way said, oh, you're being a racist because you're trying to practice accents. It's like, why? Why is that racist? Like at the time you might have been like that. Like, why is that racist? And they're like, oh, because it's, you know, like they have all these, it's not politically correct. You're not from that country. Like you shouldn't be doing that. But it's like, it's just for fun, right? It's just for fun. Plus, if you practice accents, it helps your singing. It helps your ability to do tone and pitch corrections. It also helps if you ever choose to learn a language. Like there's certain things that can help with that, right? And there's things that will help you out better in the long run. But there could have been someone who's really judgmental about that at some point, and they were like, no. And you were, now that's like in the back of your head, right? Like I tell you, I have dreadlocks. Like I have dreadlocks, and I've wanted dreadlocks since I was like 18, and I didn't get them until I was in my 30s, right? And so I've had dreadlocks now for a while, and they're long, they're almost down to my butt. Like I'm so glad that they've grown out because I started with hair down to my butt. But I remember one time I showed myself on the videos here on the channel, and I deleted the comment a long time ago, but someone called me a culture vulture. And I didn't know what that meant. I had to look it up, right? And so suddenly, like for a whole week, I was like, oh my God, do I get rid of my dreadlocks? Like, do I cut them off because people think I'm a culture vulture? Like, it really weighed on me. And then I realized, it's like, no, this is something that I've wanted since I was a kid. And it was something very spiritual for me. And why I got it, it's been very spiritual. It's been a very spiritual experience for me. And I'll never forget, there was a lady from Central Africa who was in a Kroger one day, and she owned a hair salon. And she walked up to me. She was this beautiful woman, and I will never forget her. She had her 2 kids with her in the cart, and she tapped me on the shoulder, and she says, "Hey, where did you get your dreadlocks done?" And I'm sorry, I cannot do her accent, but she had a beautiful accent. And she's like, "Hey, where'd you get your dreadlocks done?" And I was like, "I did them myself." And she's like, "Huh, can I hire you to come to my shop so that you can do dreadlocks for my customers?" And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be here long enough to do that. Like, I travel, I'm going to leave in a month or so. And she's like, "Oh man, I wish you could stay here." She's like, "I'd totally hire you on. Your dreadlocks are beautiful." And I was like, so taken aback by that. It was like, after I was so concerned about someone calling me a culture vulture, and then realizing, like, when I was just like, let go and let myself be. And I've gotten a lot of comments on my dreadlocks. You know, I think it's just something like, when you care about it because it's something that you're passionate about, like, it shows to people. There's a guy just down the street, because I live in a street. I live in a little RV park, and there's a guy that's a couple of spaces down from me, and he's a much older gentleman, and he's so sweet. Him and his wife, they have a big long story as to why they've been here for so long, but every day he goes out in the middle of the day and he plays electric guitar, and he loves to play the guitar, and people gather around and they watch him play guitar and they love it, and he's gotten so much praise from it and stuff like that. It's because it comes from the heart. He's passionate about it. It means something to him. And I realized, like, these things that people are so stuck on, they're saying, like, oh, you know, like, you can't do that because of this. They're just projecting their own insecurities onto you. And with you, Pile 3, there's something about you just being almost oblivious to those insecurities of others, because you're giving other people permission to be free. And it's like you're an emotional leader here, right? Like with the 10 of Cups here on the bottom, you're an emotional leader, but it's as if this same energy is what's going to attract your partner to you, because you're going to be giving your partner the freedom to be themselves, to express themselves. Like, look at how we start with 10 and this worry, this anxiety, this fear, and we end with 10, which is filled with hope and emotional stability and impressing upon others that it's okay for them to be who they are. So there's this shift that happens, and this success that happens when someone comes in and they're going to be like, hey, you know what? I fell in love with the fact that you were goofy, you know? Like, I love that about you. I fell in love with the fact that you sing random songs like Weird Al. I love the fact that you practice voices or whatever it is, right? Like, it's just something that's going to attract your partner to you, or it's something that has attracted your partner. You could be with them right now, and this is just that confirmation that yes, it's your goofy, weird self that attracted your partner to you. And this is the balance, because I feel like you tend to be a serious person when you're around strangers. And it's just because you've been judged before in the past, right? So that's the thing. And I feel like when we feel judged, we judge ourselves. We're like, oh, I'm not accepted as I am. But when we judge ourselves in that aspect, we block ourselves from love. And that's why it's coming out on this reading, okay? Yeah, Trine, angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. Like, when you're in that goofy place, that's when everything is happening for you. Like, House 11, friends, like-minded groups, humanitarian beliefs. Like, I can't make this energy up. It's like very clear. Source is saying, like, these are where you're gonna meet your people, okay? Like, your people are waiting for you to shine your light and to show them that you're not afraid to be who you are, because they've been looking for safe space to be who they are too. And it's not okay, and I don't want you to take that on as like your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to save them. That's not what this is. It's just that you have given yourself permission, and that's like a drop in the water to your soul tribe, right? Like, when you give yourself permission, you drop a permission drop into the waters of your soul tribe, and that reflects on everyone else. Just like if your soul tribe is doing this themselves, that drops another drop of permission, and that gives you guys even more courage. And so that's how it affects us as a soul tribe. We're all holding hands, if you think about it, in the spiritual realm, and everything that each one of us does, it helps the others in our soul tribe overcome or face that. And so if one day you just woke up with a ton of courage to do something that you'd been so afraid to do for so long, that could come from somebody in your soul tribe that also had the courage to face something like that. That's what they're showing me right now. It's showing like this connection, this web of friends, this web of people that you guys are all connected to. And so it might not be a huge web, but it's a powerful web. And that's what they're showing. And there's a creative connection between all of you. Yeah, and there's a need to release fear here with Jaguar. Release, it's just showing you like, let go of the emotional turmoil that you have with being yourself, right? Because when you let yourself be, even if you don't see benefits from it, or even if you don't see, you know, like direct correlation to that in the moment, it doesn't mean it's not doing what it's supposed to. There's a lot that's going on behind closed scenes. Like, you're not privy to it. Like, see how her hair is covering her face? Like, you're not aware of what's happening because you're not seeing it with your eyes, but it's going on behind closed doors. There's a lot that's happening in the spiritual realm. But you're a rebel to authority, and there's something that's beautiful about that. The way that you rebel, it's not like you being wildly aggressive, which I'm sure you can be. Like, you may have been at some point in your life like super aggressive about your beliefs and how people are just so unwoke, if you will, if that's a word. We're just gonna go with it. They're not woke, right? Like, you're like, hey, wake up, people, like, wake up and smell the roses, we need to get up. You know, you could have been super aggressive, but I feel like you're very forward, and that bluntness adds some real gumption is the word that I'm hearing. Some real gumption to when people absorb those seeds of wisdom that you're giving out. And that's what's calling you to a person who's going to feel like home for you, or you've been called to a person who does feel like home and peace. That's the other thing. Like, when you're free to be yourself, like, you're already in a state of peace. Like, you're not worrying about, oh, is this person judging me? How does this person feel about me? Like, are they gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're too weird for me? They're already gonna know. They're already gonna know you're weird and goofy and silly, and they're gonna love it. And they're gonna tell you they love it too. They're gonna make that be known to you, right? Work through your fears with New Moon and Scorpio. Yeah, there's some fear that's been holding you back here, but it's powerful for you to step up into that and working through that, because prosperity lies ahead. Good things are coming. Like, that's a thing. Like, source is showing you good things are coming because of this choice to just be you. Whatever that is, right? It doesn't have to be anything super massive. It can be something super small. I know, Zoe. I know. Oh my goodness. She's ready for dinner. She's like looking at me like, hey, it's dinner time. It's just now dinner time. So she's not like she's starving or anything like that. But, you know, dogs have a better internal clock than we do. Holy moly. So she just got up and stared at me for like a minute. She's like, hey. So, yeah, I feel like that's the thing. It's like, just being yourself is allowing you to really connect with who's meant to be with you along the journey here. Yeah, change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. And so there's a lot of change that's happening for you in your life right now, especially when it comes to inviting in love, right? So let's see. We're going to get some love cards out for you too. What does pile number 3 need to know about love? There's also really just, for you, pile 3, if it's not about romantic love, this is about soul tribe love, which is love, right? Like, love does not have to be romantic by any means. Love is love. Love is our dogs, our animals, our pets, our friends, our kids, you know, our family. It does not have to mean romantic love, but, you know, we've kind of come into this place where everybody coins it as romantic love when it's really not. So we have karmic relationship, resentments, triggers, perception, intensity and letting go, turmoil and fleeting. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, I feel like that's that energy. The 10 of Swords energy here is the karmic relationship. You've definitely been judged in the past for just being you. Whoever you are. Like, maybe it's a psychic gift that you have, or you have the ability to read auras, or you have the ability to read minds, or, you know, like, you have prophetic dreams or something like that. It's just like, it's this fear of sharing that part of yourself because you don't want to be judged again, but it's that very part of yourself that brings you closer to the people who make you feel like home and family, right? Yeah, to higher, bring me a higher love. Didn't I sing that at the beginning of your reading? Engagement ring, higher commitment, eternity, partnership, union, and completion. So that's the energy that brings you closer to your person, is that embracing your true self and knowing that it's okay. Like, it's okay. You do not have to put on a show for anybody, right? The people you've had to put on a show for, they're not for you. But I feel like this is you attracting people who are on the journey with you, and then through that connection of maybe friends, you're going to find the person that's for you. Yeah, longing for love and loneliness. So there's definitely like maybe someone put you in a weird third party situation. That could have been the karmic relationship. They made it seem like it was because they couldn't love you because of who you were, what you believed in, or the gifts that you had. You know, and there was definitely a period of loneliness here. There is a longing for love here for you, pile 3. I do feel that. But I also feel like there's a lot of hope too, because it's like I do want somebody who sees me for me and not somebody I have to feel like I got to build up and train to love me, right? It's just about being able to show up and let that love unfold. And that's what I feel like Source is trying to bring into your life. But how could Source do that for you if you're afraid to see yourself, right? Capricorn, ambition, realism, and methodical steps. Step by step, things will start to change for you. Yeah, sacrifice with bull. This came out in another pile too. So sacrificing the chaotic mindset, but also sacrificing just feeling like you don't belong just because you are different in some way, shape, or form. That difference is what makes us beautiful. An angel with her one bark in the window. Expect powerful change. So a lot of change cards for you here out on the reading, right? Like, so there's a huge shift, and I feel like that's something that's coming. It's like the more you embrace yourself, the faster this happens. And again, it's not about, this is not a spiritual bypass. This is not even a shortcut. It's just about truly stepping into a state of acceptance and approval of yourself. Friendship, yeah, I love that. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. So I'm gonna put this here because I feel like that's so strong. That's been the energy that I've gotten this whole time. It feels like soul tribe. This feels like friends. But I feel like from your friends, you're going to find your true love. Like, that's what this really feels like to me. The snake, competition, the enemy, the other woman, looking over your shoulder. Didn't I say with the longing for love, it feels like someone put you in a third-party situation where you felt like you had to prove your worth. And that's not what this is. Like, Source doesn't want to put you in situations where you have to feel like you got to prove your worth. Source wants you to know your worth and value for who you are when you're behind closed doors. That's a good enough version and will always be a good enough version to show out in the world. But that's how you attract the people who resonate with you. The chaser, fear of abandonment, chasing, and codependency. So this is what you've been healing, is chasing after people who you feel like you have to show that you're worthy of love. And that's why friendship is so valuable for you right now, because this friendship comes with no strings attached, no expectations, no you have to be a certain way in order to receive love. This is friendship because they love you, they see you, and they want to be a part of your life. And so you might be running right? You might be running because you're like, oh my gosh, like this person, I'm gonna do something, right? Have we ever self-sabotaged? I've done this before. Tried to self-sabotage situations because I'm like, I know if I do something, they're gonna walk away. But when you get somebody who shows up because they love you and they care about you, shout out to my bestie. I love you so much. And so, you know, like they defy all odds, and they don't run away no matter how the old version of you might show up. And you know, they show you that you're worthy of love. It's a different type of feeling that you get. It's calm and it's peaceful, and you can start to unclench those chain links that have been wrapped so tightly around you. And that's when you start to really find true connection. And it's not to say that you won't still go through those moments where you have those self-sabotage actions come up, but now you're more aware of them and you're able to work through them and let yourself still shine. Right? We have Archangel Gabriel, communication of all kinds. Like, it's okay to keep talking through it. It's okay to communicate. It's okay to share yourself with others, right? That's what it's saying here. And caretaker, putting others first. And this can talk about also people pleasing. You know, like this card does talk about people pleasing. And so, you know, remembering like you're not here to please others. You're here to find yourself. And finding yourself gives permission to others to be themselves. And that's what's so powerful, right? So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. Your reading, I'm so grateful. Your reading is very succinct. I feel like you're a very succinct person, short and sweet to the point. So, and I feel like everything came through very clear. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We've got ask for help. What do you really need? Be willing to accept support. That's the other thing I was saying, like that self-sabotage sometimes comes through is like, I can't ask anybody for help. Like, I just have to carry it by myself. But I feel like you have a lot of people around you that see you and value you, and they're trying to build this friendship with you, and they want to be there to help you through the hard times, and they want to be there as support for you. So there's no need to feel like you're alone. And so even if you do go into those moments of maybe running away or chasing, or, you know, just like folding in on yourself, which does happen. I mean, I still go through it too. Again, bestie, I'm sorry. I love you and thank you for checking on me so much. But, you know, like, I still go through that too. And it's just because of betrayal from the past and those karmic relationships that created a lot of, you know, like, we don't matter. And they made it very clear that we didn't matter. And so when you find somebody who sees you and you matter to them, it's almost like we get into this round robin, like, well, I love that I matter to them, but what am I going to do? Or what part of me is going to make them abandon me? What part of me is going to make them run away? Right? And that's the thing. And I feel like there's people here who see you and value you, and they don't want to run away. They want to show up, and they can't show up if you don't ask them to. Right? You have to give that permission. So it says there's so much support available to you. You only need to ask for help and you will receive it. Let go of fear and pride, as they do not benefit you nor give you what you desire. Perhaps you feel inundated by challenge. Take a minute to think about what you need support with. Evaluate your feelings will enable you to effectively communicate what you want. Asking for help may seem scary, and you may feel vulnerable. There are plenty of people who would love to be there for you. That's what I just said. It is not demeaning to ask for help. Strength comes from the ability to recognize your personal needs. Release any feelings around being a burden to others. People love to help others, and it's really healthful and smart to ask for help. You may recognize the love she feels as he supports the mermaid's needs. The yellow reflects off the water in the mermaid's hair, calling to you to expand your self-awareness. It's important to know when extra help is needed. Yeah, so I do feel like there's people here who do want to be let in, but they also are giving you space to do what you need to do, because they know, like, sometimes you just need to you know, crawl into yourself. But again, like, putting yourself out there, like, let yourself be seen. Let the weird parts of you be seen. Be honest about it too. You know, like, really feel like this pile was for me today too. So I'm right there with you, pile 3. But, you know, like, sometimes it's hard because it's like we've been through so much and we've been abandoned by so many people. It's like being ourselves is sometimes the most challenging thing in the world that someone can ask us, because we feel that there's been so many situations where being our truest version of ourselves has ended in abandonment or betrayal or loss or grief of some sort. And so here it feels like there's people here who want to build stronger relationships with you, stronger friendships with you. Not necessarily a romantic relationship, at least at first, but they want to build those strong, lasting bonds with you. And you're the only one that can move that forward, because they're going to be there for you no matter what, but they can't come in and be that support system that you need if you're always feeling like, I got to deal with this by myself, right? And so just know that you're not alone. Okay, you're not alone in this. All right, so this is what I see here for you today, pile number 3. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little prayer hands emoji down below and say, today I embrace courage to be my weird, silly self. And I also embrace that same courage to lean on the people who love, see, and matter to me, and I matter to them. And if it resonated with you, it would mean so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links in the description box. So I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this powerful message today. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.